Talk about this DNA case, the glove found. First of all, there's no glove found at that house, no glove found near that property. A glove a few days ago was found within about 2 miles of the house. Somebody found it and called us. We'd be silly to just disregard it. So we went out, gathered it. FBI came and said, hey, if you like, we can send that to our lab. A discussion was made, and it was about half of what I've already talked to you in time-wise. It was basically a discussion about where should this go. Well, all of the evidence from our crime scene, biological, went to our lab. In fact, the most recent search warrant we did up in Rio Rico, that all went to our lab. So it made sense that we have all of that evidence, all of the identifiers for those people that lived at the house, worked at the house, maybe it's a landscaper, a housekeeper, a pool boy. All of that was at our lab. It made no sense to send a single glove to the FBI lab, have them find something on it, and then send it back to us to see, hey, what do you think of match? Or better yet, hey, send us your stuff so we can match it. No, it made sense to keep that in one place. Why add that additional step in? That's all that was. The FBI heard us and said, absolutely, Sheriff, we agree, and we move on. It doesn't have to go back.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back to Daris D Entertainment presents Individual Perspective Podcast. I'm your host, Daris D. McKinney, and we are back. Okay, Drew Peets. Okay, Drew Peets. How you guys doing? There's so much stuff coming out about this this Nancy Guthrie stuff, and for me it sucks because I always be having I'll be talking to the screen saying this stuff, talking to the TV screen and stuff, and I'll be always saying this stuff, but I don't go and post it when I had the thought, and then it's just like but I think the previous episode I did on this, you guys go in the playlist and you can see the previous episode I did. I was right on the money with this. I really was. It's just ridiculous. It really is. So, I like to start off by saying that we're too beholden to the system still. And we don't have no choice but to be beholden to the system because the people fell in love with the system. Even like our favorite podcasters and social media influencers, they fell in love with the system because over the last 5 years, the pandemic, it made people that was making a couple $100,000 a year, $100,000 a year, it made them so big in knowing that their economic place is so grand and is so desirable that you can make money off of telling people what your status is at that moment. You know what I mean? If you can sit up in a room and podcast and stuff like that, you were better than you're abundantly better than most people that kind of source out in America and stuff like that. Like even for me, I'm always been in film and stuff like that. So at any moment I could kind of do anything in media. You know what I mean? Anything. I then I done 10,000 hours on building apps, 10,000 hours on building websites, 10,000 hours in JavaScript, 10,000 hours in CSS coding, 10,000 hours in the highest production possible that could be done. You know what I mean? That's why I always say you could drop me on the set of Titanic or Avengers or a $200 million set down to $1,000 set, and I'm so good at problem solving and actually finding a way to get through whatever woes are there. That's my ability. I'm that crafty and all kind of stuff, graphic design, special effects, sound mixing, all that stuff. I don't do it as a hobby or do it as like a little, like, okay, I got to do something, a little tinkering with it. No, I execute the steps of the industry to all that stuff. So, I don't like it. I don't really like that, but I think more of our society has made where you got to be able to walk into most rooms and say, hey, I'll do this with you or without you. I'll find a way to make this goal, this accomplishment, this execution, make it real with you or without you. That kind of status and structure you have to be able to do, because how snaky and backstabbing and passive aggressive and just misdirection that society is. Everybody's trying to find a way to get you, hurt you, make you unrepairable. And it's like when they don't know that I think most people don't know that they're doing that. The people that actually know that they're doing it and they're doing it, those are really shady people, and you better understand that person across you is who they are. Even when you know that's who they are, you trying to say, oh man, you can't be that cutthroat. You can't be that cutthroat, but they are. I always tell people, you got to understand Denzel Washington, even a person that you kind of look at Denzel Washington, you look at his commentary, you look at his interviews, you look at what he say, and he seems like a really, really good person. But he was an asshole when he started. When he was building himself, he was an asshole. You get what I'm saying? And he's not going to talk about that. He's not going to talk about the way that he was to get where he needed to go, how much of a strong authoritarian, very dictator that he had to be in his personal life, his marriage, and the way in his management and all that stuff, and even just into the film world and all that stuff. He had to be strong-armed. In later years, of course, you're able to kind of take off the armor and be a little bit more humanity and all that stuff. I tell people that, like, hey, don't have the conversation that Jay-Z want to have with you. Have the conversation you need Jay-Z to have with you. Don't have the conversation that President Obama want to have with you. Have the conversation that you need to have with them. That's the only, and most people don't know how to read like pleasantries or keeping a persona balance and give validity to it. Most people, they have to protect their persona they have out there. They won't tell you how it really is. Like, really, what's got to be done. They kind of say, well, I don't think you need to go at it the way I did it because, that's the way I had to do it. But no, most people, you're not going in the same exact situation. Like Jay-Z, he kind of did dope running and stuff like that and giving permission for people to get killed and all that stuff like that. Look, allegedly, okay? You won't have to do the same thing that he does. You could kind of do it in the way that Oprah did it, where it was just like whatever it is to get through the door, whatever it is to kind of attach themselves and play the race card and do whatever it's got to do to get established as what you're trying to do. But at the same time, once that door open, you let them know, like, no, I'm doing it right, and I'm doing it bigger and better than you could even conceive it. And then that way, they start to adopt your mood and what you want to do and what you want to accomplish and stuff like that. The reason why I say this, and I know that I might have white viewers and different race and stuff, but this is a conversation of how the the real world works. And when you have the news outlets, Fox News, and I don't know why Fox News like to separate themselves from MS Now and CNN and CBS and ABC and NBC News, because over the last 12 to 15 years, they compromised themselves. You get what I'm saying? And for me, I'm like, the reason why I watch Fox News, because it's the only way you could kind of at least see somewhat of everything that's going on. It is maybe driven in a narrative to the outcome of it is negative. Like I always tell people, even when like you go look at CBS, NBC, ABC, CNN, MSN Now, and Fox News, and if you go look at how they communicate, you'll see that 90% of them hate Trump. 90% of their coverage hates Trump. But Fox News does a trick where they'll have conservatives advocate for policies of conservatism or Republican and all the other stuff. But technically, it's negative, because when you hear what they say, with the opinion that they say, and then they just leave it out there as a narrative, and if the Democrat or the liberal out talks them or have crazy little wild aggressive banter, but the actual conservative is very passive, then overall, psychologically, the actual liberal gonna look like they have more of a valid point of view, because they boisterous, or they yelled it, or they talk vigorously about it, and the Republican or the conservative took a passive role to not demean their persona. You get what I'm saying? So overall, when it's looked at, that conversation looked negative for a Republican or Trump or something like that. So when you see the totality of our news coverages, it's one-sided. Why? Because everybody's trying to live past the curtains been opened by Trump not in 2015. They're trying to see if the Republicans trying to see if there's a political party without Trump, without needing to lean on him, without needing him to come out and campaign for them, without them needing to lean on him for fundraising and all that other stuff. They're trying to build and tear him down so much and destroy him so much internally in the Republican Party, in his own pretty much property people that's around him, passive aggressively, people that come in and talk to him, and like, you know, I'm going too much into the weeds of politics, but my point of it is that if this is how we think we should communicate to politics and to political situations, what do you think they're doing to our everyday situations that are going on? The crime, the economics, the certain things. How are they delivering that message to us? Is it biased? Is it politically biased? Is it socially biased? What is it? And when you see how they carried this Guthrie kidnapping is, and I really want you guys to watch the 2 episodes I did before this in context with this episode. It's in the playlist and everything, but you will see that it's a narrative that they're fighting for. They're fighting for their message and what they really want to go on. I say one of the things about this whole thing is there's a passive aggressive thing from the sheriff wanting assistance from the federal government, because they know that the federal government's been communicated through Trump, and they don't want any assistance from Trump. That city, the state doesn't want any assistance from him, but they can't say it out loud. They got to be somewhat passive aggressively, not allowing too much help from them. So you see these little underlying things that are not said, but you can see the physicality of it. You know what I mean? And you'll see, like, because Savannah Guthrie, Guthrie's mother, she doesn't like Trump. Her husband doesn't like Trump. You know what I mean? And for them, they really want to lean on the federal government as least as possible because it's ran by Trump. Even though Trump's calling them to say, hey, is there anything we could do? We'll do everything. We'll send everything out. They send all that FBI agents, all the FBI resources down there. And then the sheriff department in the city said, nope, hold off. We'll let you know what we need your help with. That's wow. Okay? And literally, no matter how much you feel about Trump and anything and how corrupt our FBI agency is, at least these are people that track serial killers and all kind of stuff. You guys, they got tools and stuff that can help to move along this real quick. And if you guys keeping them at arm's length, I guess that's going to work out for you overall. And if we use an objective analysis, we'll see that it's not working out well for them to not let the FBI take it totally over. Okay? So, what I want to say, and before I get started to play some of these clips, because we got a lot to get through, we got to knock a lot out. My thing is, okay, my disclaimer, everything I say on all my podcast episodes before and after is all my opinion. They're not factual. If I play you something that will be factual evidence, that is for me to just give you context to my point of view, or give you information that you need to ingest in, and then you make up your mind the way you want to make it up. I'm not saying that I'm the all be and all thing, that things that I say may be factually true. I try my best to be as accurate as possible. You get what I'm saying? But at the same time, this is entertainment. This is my podcast. This is my point of views. And I have my freedom to voice my opinions on different scenarios, on different situations that's happening. But I want for you to just take it in as information, take it in as entertainment and conversation, and then process it to data and facts that you can corroborate it with and move on. Okay? That's what it is. So that's my disclaimer. This is all for my podcast. This from the points and the views that I have on this podcast is from my perspective, my own individual analysis of everything. It may be factual. It may not be factual. It's all for you to process it, do a process of elimination from research and things that you look at and make up your mind. You know what I mean? Okay, let's get started. So I'm going to open this up and go to the thing, and we'll just knock out all this context, and I'll kind of explain what I want to explain throughout it all.
Talk about this DNA case, the glove found. First of all, there's no glove found at that house, no glove found near that property. A glove a few days ago was found within about 2 miles of the house. Somebody found it and called us. We'd be silly to just disregard it. So we went out, gathered it. FBI came and said, hey, if you like, we can send that to our lab.
So this glove, this Memphis, you got to look at what Fox News say. They the holy grail of the glove. Look, they got a glove. They got a glove. This glove was found 2 miles away. And then they said they found 16 of them. So obvious common sense tells you that it's the actual investigators leaving the gloves behind and stuff like that. And because it was black gloves that was the criminal was wearing on the camera and stuff, they just automatically put this as some kind of possible evidence. You get what I'm saying? The black gloves, and it's just like, and then, this is evidence. This is true evidence. And then now he's kind of saying, they just some random person just called us and we went out to just grab the gloves because why not? You know what I mean? Why not leave it behind? And we just gave it to our forensic task or our lab and everything. We're not going to give it to the Chronicle to analyze it, and then we got to analyze all the other stuff that we already got. Keep it all together, and we analyze it together. So it's just everybody. They just throwing a fishnet out. They just throwing everything against the wall.
Discussion was made, and it was about half of what I've already talked to you in time-wise. It was basically a discussion about where should this go. Well, all of the evidence from our crime scene, biological, went to our lab. In fact, the most recent search warrant we did up in Rio Rico, that all went to our lab. So it made sense that we have all of that.
Real Rico is the actual first suspect or person of interest that they had. You get what I'm saying? That was the first person that they kind of arrested, and he was like a delivery, like an Amazon delivery type, something like that, a package delivery person. And they arrested him. They actually went into his in-laws' house and did a search in there and all that stuff. They even saying we're still waiting for his DNA to confirm that he's really not a person of interest. So they're just hitting anybody up and just keeping them as a possibility that they might be the person they're looking for. Wild stuff, y'all.
Evidence, all of the identifiers for those people that lived at the house, worked at the house, maybe it's a landscaper, a housekeeper, a pool boy, all of that was at our lab. It made no sense to send a single glove to the FBI lab, have them find something on it, and then send it back to us to say, hey, what do you think of match? Or better yet, hey, send us your stuff so we can match it. No, it made sense to keep that in one place. Why add that additional step in? That's all that was. The FBI heard us and said, absolutely, Sheriff, we agree, and we move on. It doesn't have to go back to Quantico. Why would we do that? Quantico's not going to recheck this lab's work. That's not how that works. We have a lab that is certified that we do crime scenes with all the time. Gabby Giffords was one. Those kinds of cases come up here more often than people think.
See, like for him to even say Gabby Gifford was one, that lets you know it's all political with them. You get what I'm saying? Why you mention Gabby Gifford? She was a senator or whatever the hell she was and stuff. Her and her husband's a hack. You get what I'm saying? I don't mean no disrespect, and I'm probably I'm gonna lose viewers for saying that, but they are hacks. But some idiot like person came into Walmart during a wild shooting and stuff, and I guess she was there doing some kind of speech or something, and he shot her and stuff like that, and other people, and that person was like caught in everything like that. So like analysis on who the suspect is, it's not like that person got away and you had to investigate to go find that person. That person was right there. It was, and they got arrested right there, and they got taken out right there. Like, why would you mention Gabby Gifford? That she got, there's no investigation of who shot her, who did the shooting of all the people that was there. So why would you need to bring that up as a context to like swabs and DNA analysis and stuff like that? You don't need to know who. You're not investigating who shot Gabby Gifford. You get what I'm saying? So for him to mention that, it's political. We're Democrats here. We don't need the federal help. That's what he's saying. It's crazy passive aggressive.
Giffords was one. Those kinds of cases come up here more often than people think, where we use our lab. There's cases where...
What are you using your lab for a active shooter that you actually got on the premise when they did it? So it's not like you got to go look to see like if that person did it or not. They did it. Why would you even mention Gabby Gifford? It's not even in context. That's not a situation where you got to send out DNA analysis on this guy that actually got caught with the gun and got shot with the gun and all that. So this is ridiculous.
We've used FBI lab. They do great work. But why would you set up a conflict for a defense? You would never do that. This is the lab we've chosen. It was chosen from the onset, and we're going to stay there. There's no reason to move. And the FBI is in agreement with that. Now, if the FBI came to me and said, hey, Sheriff, your lab does this wrong or that wrong, absolutely. But that's not what's happened. I don't have any reason to believe she's not alive. That question is asked of everyone, but for me, it's real simple. The family believes she's alive. I believe she's alive. My team, 400 officers out there right now, are working hard because they believe she's alive.
I'm sorry about this commercial stuff. I hate this stuff. You get what I'm saying? And now he's saying like that she's alive. Yeah, you're like, look, I guess you got to say that because the family's saying that. You know, I just, you guys got to make sense when you talk to the public. Don't mention something that you shouldn't mention because you don't know how to actually be truthful and honest to the public. But 24 hours, her situation was even dire because 24 hours without her medication is life and death. That would mean that whoever would take her and kidnap her, they got to really have high resources to medicate any possible kidnap victim. And be able to have a medical system, a medical structure within a kidnapping organization that can manage any medical situation when they kidnap the person. You get what I'm saying? So it's like 24 hours, she had a dire situation. 48 hours is unbelievable. It's catastrophic. A week, it's just like we don't even see it. What kind of situation is this? Okay, somebody kidnaps somebody and they don't have a ransom demands. They don't contact the family. You guys don't have no way of them actually contacting you, finding a way to contact you. They're not going to hold on to a lady for long periods of time. She's 84. It's not like you kidnapped the person when they were like 30 or 40 years old, and then 20 years from now they were still alive. Oh my God! We found this person in Mexico. We found this person in a sewer dwell or some kind of underground bunker, and we thought this person was dead and blah blah blah. Come on, y'all. This is an 84-year-old woman that has a pacemaker and she has major heart conditions, and she has to take her medication within the 24-hour span. It is catastrophic for her to go without her specific medication in 48 hours, let alone a week, let alone a person that want to get money and they got a system to get money that it don't work out. You know what I mean? And I'm going to talk about how everybody's evaluating the intelligence and the value of this suspect. I don't care what y'all say. He's smarter than y'all. All of you. FBI, CIA, our government, the sheriff's department, and Pima County. All of y'all incompetent. The news anchors and the news commentary analysts and all these former FBI, these are morons compared to the guy that trying to cover up the camera with his hands and stuff. So I don't want to hear that.
It really is. I have a team of 400, all we have. It really is. I have a team of 400, hope is sometimes all we have. It really is. I have a team of 400 officers from federal government, state government, local government. I have a community of 1 million people here who are invested in this, who want her back. Sometimes all we have to go on is hope. I'm not going to kill that. You have the same video we have. That video came out as soon as we got it. We put it out to the media with less than 2 hours. It went out. That individual is who we're looking for. Are there others? We won't know that till we find him.
No, duh.
Or other evidence comes in.
You're not supposed to be looking for others. That's all you have is him. It's stupid for us to even have a conversation about others. You get what I'm saying? And whoever the idiot from USA Today that acts that crazy is just ridiculous.
Indicate that. But right now, he's who we want. Somebody out there knows who this is. And we're looking hard as we speak. Teams are out there looking for this guy. So all the ransom notes and that goes to the FBI, and it would be really inappropriate for me to comment on that. They have that, just as we have other things to do. You know, I think the strongest evidence is that video. That's really what we're focused on. We've got to find that guy. And that's what everybody's trying to do. Let's find who somebody out there knows who he is.
You had morons like Laura Ingraham like say, we don't know if it's a woman or if it's a man. I don't know. And then she would, I don't know if it's her producer or the fucking retards at Fox News, excuse my language, was telling her like, we can kind of we don't know if it's a woman or a man. Come on, that's a man. Nothing about that guy is a woman. You get what I'm saying? But to compromise your commentary or your deliverance in the message and just saying random dumb stuff, it's just, if Fox News doing it, y'all, you got no hope. Because they're trying to be fair and balanced. They're actually trying to make an attempt to be fair and balanced, and they have totally botched it in the last 12 years. They're not fair and balanced. I call them fear and compliance. Fox News, fear and compliance. You get what I'm saying? Because they're trying to make sure that all the major pulled their ads from them for years, where it was catastrophic for them because you couldn't get Kellogg's, you couldn't get Dove, you couldn't get any kind of major brands to put their commercials on there because they was doing conservative or anti-Trump supporting zones. That's how much this country, don't even get me started. Don't even get me started.
And so we constantly put out, I think today, more Ring camera requests for information from the public. We, in essence, I guess from the beginning to maybe a couple of days ago, the count was over 18,000 calls here and some 15,000 at the FBI office. You're over 30,000 calls. And
none of those people live in the 5-mile radius of that stuff. And any of the stuff that they're talking about is just complete ridiculous. Ridiculous. You think that 18,000 people know a specific thing that happened with the kidnapping of Nancy Guthrie, and you don't know if what they're talking about is really legitimate or not? They will walk up to the crime area, they will walk up to the department, and they will say, hey, I seen this, I got this, I got video of this, I got this. Come on, y'all, this is ridiculous, okay?
And that, when we put that video out, in a matter of maybe an hour, we had almost 5,000 more calls. That's a key piece for us, and we're continuing to look at that and work with that.
And they said, a person said, well, you know what? That looked like my son-in-law. And they're like, oh, that looked like your son-in-law? Okay, what your son-in-law do? And he works and he delivers his packages in the Tuscan area? It most likely is him. They go grab him, pull him over, SWAT goes out, go in to ransack the house or investigate the house, go do a forensic team and an analysis inside the house, taking the guy, pulling him over, taking out his car, searching his car and black light, blue light, whatever light his car and taking his phone and then letting him go and say, well, we ain't got nothing on you. It's like, dude, y'all just throwing, how about y'all actually figure out what's the actual methodology to actually catch a person like this? And then for evidence that you have collected, and then for what most likely will be the scenario of a person to catch a person like this. And if people don't fall into that, don't harass people. And we are just this county and this sheriff and this mayor and this actual governor are disenfranchising people's 4th and 5th Amendment right. It ain't shit, dude. They completely railroading people and running over their freedoms and everything. I'm not saying to advocate anything for the suspect. I want him caught and I want Nancy Guthrie's situation resolved. But at the same time, after 3 weeks, now you see that they're just doing a dragnet on everything and it has no substance to it. That's what I'm seeing. But I'm walking you guys through it. We can mute this. I'm sorry. Okay, they got USA Today gave this footage and everything like that, so we thanking them. But you can see them they just searching for anything. You know what I mean? I'm assuming they have gloves and baggies, evidence baggies somewhere in their pocket or in their pouches or whatever. But really, they just kind of, all the traffic and everything, they just randomly going by seeing these guys. It was like some organization kidnapped her. Okay, for what? What did they kidnap her for? Did they say they got the helicopter trying to find her pacemaker? They got a little thing on the bottom of the actual helicopter to read pacemaker signals and stuff like that. It's wow. Okay? Wow. Forgive me with these commercials. Okay, you got him, this suspect. Physicality of it ain't no woman, okay? That's a guy. Laura Ingraham. Retarded. The media is so dumb that they don't even care about saying something that has no credibility to it. And even if it gets proven wrong the following day or the following week, it's just like, okay, we ain't gonna talk about losing credibility to anything that you communicate out your mouth. It's that's my thing about people. You gotta, like, especially if you're a leader, if you're a media personality or anybody like that, anything comes out your mouth, it needs to be, if it's some kind of process of elimination that you're doing, you have to even communicate that within the context of what you're saying. Hey, this absolutely doesn't look like a woman, but I gotta say it because, you know, the media want us to have that talking points. My producers want me to have that talking point, but most likely this is a man, and I want to make sure that my communication is very accurate when it becomes proven that this is a man. You would say it like that. You wouldn't just leave it like, oh, this, we don't know if this is a woman or a man. Yes, you do know if it's a woman or a man. It's stupid. Okay? It's dumb. They get the evidence of the actual possible image of the guy, and they said that that's an Ozark bag. I'm gonna take you to the video that they show you of the actual bag that it might be. It has nothing, no writing on the upper part of that bag. No writing, no logo, no nothing, and in no way, shape, form, or size is that an Ozark bag. And they say, oh, it's the reflecting of the light. Yeah, I understand what the light is doing. But the light is kind of going into, even if it's black, it's identifying black things, dark things. The gloves are black, separating its color from from the jacket. The straps on the bag is separating itself from the bag, and it's black. Why is it doing that? Not because of the light. It's because it's a lighter color and tone. Ridiculous. The trim around the bottom of his sole of his shoes is black. And he's taking shrubs to cover the actual thing. But even when, I'll say this one more time. I said it on my previous episode. When he actually goes from the camera and he walks outside to go get something to cover up the camera, he is in confidence that he got time to not be seen by the cameras. Because if you guys all know, all these camera doorbells, they actually, when people walk by it or they walk past it or it sees any kind of movement in its periphery, and it's like hundreds of feet away, if it sees thing in the periphery, it sends a loud ringer to your phone. So even if she's not monitoring what's the actual stuff on her phone, her kids are. So in that situation, while he's kind of covering up the camera, and every time he puts his hand in front of the camera, the infrared is kind of making it be very apparent what's going on in the camera. He got good definition with his hands going against the camera. That's good. That's good definition. With the gloves and the straps of his actual bag and it's all that stuff, they got good definition on that. So it's ringing all the time. Every single time he moves in front of that camera, it's ringing to say somebody's outside, somebody's in front of the camera, somebody at the door. You get what I'm saying? By him walking back out there, that's bad for him. He could be seen by neighbors. He could be seen by anybody. For him, he got total confidence that he don't have to move fast. He might get seen by somebody, and it's disruptive to what he's trying to do. everything that he got on, all his clothing is brand spanking new. I don't know why that's not part of the conversation, or why they don't even articulate that when they're actually talking about this guy in the video. All that is brand new. The mask brand new. His shoes is brand new. The gloves brand new. The jacket's brand new. The book bag's brand new. The mask brand new. All that is fresh new gear. $200 to $300 worth of gear. All of it is brand new, spanking new. Ain't got no wear and tear in it. Ain't got no shrubbings of the straps or the shoulders, holsters and stuff like that. It's got brand new gear that this guy got on. You get what I'm saying? So even like just the cleanness of the actual mask. It's not like he's using that mask a bunch of times. This is very clean stuff. Wow. Okay, I guess this is some drone coverage of what they kind of the Guthrie. We don't got to really go through that. So let's move on. Let's get to some other news.
Hasn't the FBI taken over the Nancy Guthrie case as the lead investigator? Do you have any updates on how that's going?
Well, they took it over originally. You know, it was a local case originally, and they didn't want to let go of it, which is fine. It's up to them. It's really up to the community. But ultimately, when the FBI got involved, I think, progress has been made.
As we end this second devastating week for the search for Nancy Guthrie, supporters are now coming in numbers and millions online, and they're rallying around the Guthrie family. Good evening. I'm Karima Devine.
I'm Mark Curtis. As investigators continue to pore over leads and footage, the man heading up the case, Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos, has acknowledged missteps, including that he probably should have waited longer to allow the family to return home after his detectives finished combing through it for evidence before authorities.
But you can even see like how much the news had coverage. Look at that. All of them got drone coverage. Like, so you got a bunch of drones up in the air over the house, and that's been like that since at least the first week.
Family to return home.
Now check this out. For them to get that shot of where the doorbell was, where the actual camera was on her door, for them to get that shot, they're on the property. To get that clean shot of that, they're on the property. That's not a zoom in. That's just they're on the property. Okay? It's ridiculous.
His detectives finished combing through it for evidence before authorities.
But they even said in the news coverage that they actually they went in there, they did whatever random stuff they did on the first couple days or something, and then they gave the actual the actual house back to the family, so everybody started tracking in. And now you see the boy, like literally last week, I seen the pool guy clean the pool out. Meaning that is whatever was there is no reason to it's just ridiculous. And they say they took DNA from everybody that ever was at the house, if it's the pool boys or the yard worker or whatever. Maintenance guy, whoever would come to that house over a year or so, and they know them as people that kind of manage that location for her, helping her out. It's crazy.
Probably should have waited longer to allow the family to return home after his detectives finished combing through it for evidence. Before authorities resecured the scene, journalists were able to walk up to the front door to get pictures of the blood droplets that the sheriff said belonged to Guthrie. And that's not the only thing that he's facing criticism for.
12 News journalist Jade Cunningham is live in Tucson now with more. Jade?
Yeah, good evening. You know, there really have been a lot of mixed opinions about how the sheriff's department has handled this investigation. You know, just last weekend, Sheriff Chris Nanos was seen at a University of Arizona basketball game. And then, you know, there are also questions as to why the sheriff's department hasn't held any press briefings in more than a week. It's a little bit unusual when it comes to a case of this magnitude. And then today, there also have been some reports regarding some tension between the Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos and the FBI. There are claims that Nanos is withholding evidence from the federal agency, and that there may be.
I'm pretty sure the FBI. Look. I said this before. My problem with the FBI is that people don't know what the FBI is for. We kind of all think there's for finding serial killers and doing some like forensic analysis of white collar criminals and stuff like that. We kind of think that's what the FBI is for, but to give you an understanding what the function of the FBI is that the FBI is there to make sure that every single individual citizen has their constitutional rights respected, pretty much. And if there's any individual citizen gets their rights disenfranchised, you send like FBI is like the citizens' personal secret service, like the president and some of the senators and congressmen and certain federal government administrators have the secret service kind of protecting them. The FBI is technically there to protect you from having your freedoms disenfranchised by local police departments, by a city mayor, by the actual governor. If any way that your rights and your sovereignty is disenfranchised by any official or any system or even if a citizen disenfranchises your freedoms, the FBI can present themselves as they're making sure that this person's rights has been upheld, and they come in and they back you up. Okay, that's why even when a suspect get a criminal indictments put against them, the actual federal prosecutors can put indictments also on that person, because the federal government and the FBI can claim that or structure it that your rights has been disenfranchised in your by this person or by this organization or by this situation, that we need to make sure that we prosecute this person for invading and disenfranchising a specific person's rights, and violate their rights. You guys got to understand, you don't have the right to live in America, like to be alive. Somebody can superimpose their will on you. The government can like your city, your city, your state can superimpose their will on your life. A certain serial killer can superimpose their will on your life. A certain organization, certain people can superimpose their will, gangs and criminals and drug dealers and all that stuff. They can superimpose their will on your life, and you don't have it. But everybody got to suffer the consequences of disenfranchising your rights. So if you live to tell the tale, or if you live to see how your rights or your disenfranchisement of your rights or your sovereignty was violated, you can see how it is. But even if you're not here anymore, you're unalived, you can kind of the process is for consequences for disenfranchising this person's life. That's how the FBI and the purpose of the FBI, so you can always make sure somebody, where it was supposed to be like that, where it's a guarantee that your life don't get disenfranchised, that your rights don't get disenfranchised. And if so, you got a whole nother organization to bring your claim to, and then they'll investigate it. If the sheriff department don't investigate it, if the state don't investigate it, the FBI investigates it to make sure your rights and your freedoms and everything is being respected and stuff like that. But we know the FBI failed at the number one job of them. If you just look, I know I sound like a Trump supporter. I sound like a Republican. I hate the Republican Party as much as I don't like the Democrat Party. I think Democrat Party, I understand why they're doing what they're doing. There's their policies. There's what they always advocated for. So it's not like they're doing this wild stuff that's out of context and out of the brand. It is. But the passive aggressive self-defeating and the sabotaging of the Republican Party and conservatives and Christians is so relentless that is killing our country, is killing our rights and our freedoms, and it's killing our progress of prosperity, because it's so much like just laying down and dying from Christians, from Republicans, and from conservatives, that is on a day-to-day basis attacking and just like completely destroying the dreams and the operations and the can-do attitude and the ability of the average person. Now, maybe some of us we're so much of assholes that we overcome that and we fight against it, and we be aggressive against whatever's going on in our society. But the average person can't be like that. And our fight is not for the anomalies. Our fight is always for, like, okay, giving the average person the ability to try to do better for themselves without us having a systematic system that actually make money to disenfranchise them, to lower them, to keep them where they chasing their tail, keep them where they can't get over the hump, even when they, in their own personal way, they're trying to figure everything out. But we're actually looking at them. A lot of people, they're kind of buying this, so we got to do this to kind of make it where they don't get successful too quick. We got to stop those kind of loans because we don't want a bunch of people being successful in this. We got to stop this kind of investments and barter trade with the actual citizens. And I'm telling you, I'm saying a lot, but I just wanted to kind of let you guys understand that the job of the FBI was when, let's say, when the federal government or any like CIA, the FBI, the NSA, the different prosecutors and judges, when they rule crazy, when they do some stuff that's actually logically against the statute, against statutes. I hate statutes too, but they're law. If you don't like them, Congress gotta strike down the law. But when they violate statutes, it violates actual rights of an American citizen, and the FBI is supposed to attack. I don't care. They're supposed to be so objective that even if Trump gets attacked by a prosecutor, they're supposed to investigate. Do that prosecutor have the right to file indictments and do grand juries? And did the grand jury prosecute or indict this person fairly? They're supposed to actually be the backup for something. If you allow something to happen to Trump's rights, it's all right for it to happen to you because it becomes president. Now it's in structure that laws have been prosecuted, laws have been used in certain ways to prosecute Trump in this certain thing. So if we decide, hey, this person like is somewhat in the same context, so it's not like we never prosecuted people under this structure. Now it's actually can be you can't allow for things to become normalized against Trump because it becomes normalized against you or any other citizen. But once we decided to say, hey, as much is we got to destroy white people as much as we possibly can, and anything goes. That ain't right, man. Right? Because you gonna get destroyed, and then you're like, what is all this for? You get what I'm saying? So now the rhetoric is that our country is not a just country; it's a stolen country. So no statutes, no laws, no actual operations of what's sanity and what's like civilization rules of engagement should not be applied to a stolen country. Why are you guys respecting this stuff still? So when the FBI decided to not do their job properly over the last 12 to 15 years, it was all thrown out the window because they're supposed to investigate their own bosses if they cross the line. They're supposed to do that. You get what I'm saying? So, but one of the greatest things about the actual FBI is they do track down serial killers. They do track down like certain people and use the resources of technology and advancement and even profiling to track people's movements and how they would think in certain scenarios. So to just totally push them out because you don't want to use the federal government resources because it's an extension of Donald Trump, that's why you see all this bumbling going on.
Some problems with where evidence is being sent to. We reached out to the FBI and the Sheriff's Department about this. The FBI telling us they are not commenting due to the ongoing investigation. The Sheriff's Department not responding to our request directly, but they did send a statement not too long ago saying in part evidence requiring forensic analysis is being sent to the same out-of-state lab that's been used since the beginning of this case, that it was.
And that's the Florida. So they send it. So the FBI saying, hey, we got the highest functioning technology we could get DNA turned over in 24 hours or so. And it is all linked to any possible DNA analysis throughout the whole country, even like genealogist companies and stuff. We're connected to them, but we're also connected to anybody that was a suspect or that's been in our system for DNA. You get what I'm saying? But they're saying, nope, we're going to do this through our own system. We got people in FBI in Florida. We got a lab in Florida that's just as good as the FBI system. That's what they're saying. We'll see.
Discussed and agreed upon by the FBI. Now, Sheriff Nanos did speak with our sister station here in Tucson, saying the two departments, the FBI and the Sheriff's Department, they are working together closely. Take a listen.
The FBI and us sit down at tables and we discuss things. Hey, I've got this mission up in Rio Rico. We've got a search warrant. Who should we do? State? We've got a SWAT team. You want our SWAT team? Their SWAT team. There's no egos there. We sit and discuss what's the best option. You know what? Some of these cases go for months. Some of these cases can go for years. We're prepared that whatever that time is, we're going to continue fighting it. We're going to get there. We will find this person. That we know.
So let's talk a little bit about the suspect. While there are reports of multiple persons of interest, only one official suspect has so far been named by authorities in this case, and it's the person seen in Nancy's home surveillance video. Investigators believe it's a man between 5'9" to 5'10" in height, average build, wearing a black 25-liter Ozark Trail hiker backpack.
That is not the backpack. I don't care what nobody say, that's not the backpack. And it's so lazy for them to actually put that up as the backpack. You get what I'm saying? That's not the backpack, okay? And I'm rewinding it back so you guys can see that's not the backpack, okay?
Seen in Nancy's home.
Look at that.
Home surveillance.
That is absolutely no logo print.
In Nancy's home.
See? Right there. That's no, you don't see any of that. Nothing. You don't see any logo, any embroidering, anything on there. And for them to make it seem like it's this bag is complete incompetent. It's complete idiotic. And this is from the FBI that's profiling that is that bag. What the hell is wrong with them? Crazy, dude. Crazy. My opinion. Look, this is all my point of view on this podcast. Boy.
25-liter Ozark Trail hiker backpack. The suspect also wearing gloves, similar looking ones found not far from Nancy's home and are now being analyzed for any DNA. To be clear, the sheriff clarifying that no gloves were found inside Nancy Guthrie's home, that the closest gloves were found actually about 2 miles away from the house. The sheriff also stating today in an interview with our sister station that there are multiple gloves being analyzed at this time, and that's because of all the tips that are being brought in from the community, the leads as well. They are taking every tip and lead seriously, and they're looking into it.
And they said people are pointing out like so many gloves like 2 miles away and down the roads and all that stuff that it came up to like 16 different gloves. Come on, y'all. That's the other agents. That's the investigating team or whatever. It's just wild goose chase, man.
Every possible tip and lead that they can. We, of course, will be following this. You can stay with 12 News for the latest. Guys?
Jade, quick question. The gloves that have been found, even though they weren't apparently, according to the sheriff, found in the house, those were sent to the Pima County Sheriff's crime lab that they use, I believe, in Florida, rather than the FBI crime lab, which is world-renowned, in Quantico. Did the sheriff address why they're not using the FBI crime lab?
It sounds like they wanted to use the same crime lab that they've been using from the very beginning of this case. So instead of using 2 separate crime labs, they're wanting to try and keep it all in one location, which could be possibly that Florida location. Again, it's a great question. It's a question that we would love to ask the sheriff. And I should say that we have asked specifically the sheriff for a one-on-one interview multiple times during this investigation, and he has not responded to our request as of yet.
Look, it's an anti-Trump thing, okay? Look, I'm sorry to tell y'all the bad news, but it is that it's a Trump war. It's TDS, Trump deranged syndrome, and I'm telling you, it's everywhere. It's in our military. It's in our intelligence agency. It's highly in the news media, and it's in like anybody that is anti-masculine. It's in it. They get the TDS, boy. Look, I know I'm turning it political, but it's not me. It's just what it is. And trust me, it simmers over everything if you use your common sense. Okay, this is just ridiculous.
All right, Jade Cunningham
Okay, we go to the next thing. Okay, what's the next thing? So the person of interest, the first person. And the reason why I want to bring this back up is because, excuse my, like these commercials and stuff. I don't want to add another subscription. It's ridiculous. So this was the first person of interest. And the reason why I'm bringing him back up is...
I didn't have nothing to do with it, right?
Carlos, what do you want people, your name's everywhere. Yeah.
I'm innocent. That's all I can say. I didn't have nothing to do with this.
Were you shocked when...
Yeah, I was.
Tell me.
Come on, like, what do you expect me to do? ¿Cómo quieres que reaccione cuando algo pasa así? Cuando yo no sé qué está pasando, me agarraron como si fuera un criminal, me secuestraron. They held me against my will. They didn't even read me my rights until 2 hours later. Okay?
Okay, let me go back because I didn't even...
rights until 2 hours later.
He started speaking Spanish.
Yeah, I was.
Tell me.
Come on, like, what do you expect me to do?
Look, I'm bringing this back up because it's the context. This is when they thought, like, okay, they put the video up of the actual suspect, and then after they put the video of the suspect up and asked people to call, his mother-in-law, somebody-in-law, most like his mother-in-law, called to say, oh, that looks like Carlos' eyes. And they called the people on him. They came to kind of search to get a raid on him, on the house and stuff, and then they pulled him over and pulled him out and start questioning him and all that stuff like that. And then like he's been bewildered. I don't know why they doing it. It's your crazy mother-in-law.
I have nothing to do with it. As you can see, I didn't have nothing to do with it, right?
Carlos, what do you want people, your name's everywhere. Yeah.
I'm innocent. That's all I can say. I didn't have nothing to do with this.
Were you shocked when...
Yeah, I was.
Tell me.
Come on, like, what do you expect me to do? ¿Cómo quieres que reaccione cuando algo pasa así?
How do you want me to react when something like this happens? I don't know what's going on. They grabbed me like I was a criminal. Oh yeah. 4th and 5th Amendment. They kidnapped me. He better be a illegal immigrant or something because they didn't have no right. He could sue them.
Helped me against my will. They didn't even read me my rights until 2 hours later. Okay? My wrist is all swollen.
From the handcuffs?
Like,
and did you have any idea
that
this was about? Do you know who Nancy Guthrie is?
That's the problem. No, I don't know anything.
You were like, where is this coming from?
How did they come up on you?
I don't know.
Like, what, were you just driving around?
Yeah, working.
Yeah, they said you were delivering DoorDash?
GLS.
Oh.
How'd they pull up on you? Like,
nah, I pulled up on them because they were following me. Yeah, they were following me. Marana. This is Santa Cruz County, and Marana was down here. It's like, come on, 2 and 2.
And so then when they came up on you, what did they say? Like, what did they say?
Nothing. Literally nothing. They just told me stop moving. Like, what's your name? Carlos. And that's it. They put me in the cop car. I gotta wait like 2 hours. I waited like 2 hours until the detectives came here and everything.
Oh my God.
Well, when they finally told you this was had to do with some kidnapping, like what were you thinking?
What the am I doing here? I didn't do anything. To be honest, like, I'm innocent.
And you don't even know who the lady is? Do you know who Savannah Guthrie is?
No. I don't
Nothing.
follow the news.
Right.
I don't watch.
You don't watch the Today Show.
No.
So this was a complete shock.
It was.
What
kind
was
of questions were they asking you?
Nothing. They didn't ask me no questions.
So they just said,
nothing. They
so they
just sat me in the car. They investigated my car and this man, and that's it. They didn't ask me no questions, no nothing.
Did you get the other car back, or they still have it?
No, it's right there.
Oh, they gave it back to you. So.
Yeah, it's like.
And they said you can go home.
Yeah.
And how did they treat like the people you were with, your girl, your child?
Oh, I don't want to speak about
not
that.
understood.
You know what I mean?
How's your family? They
Well, they're all
scared
in
everybody.
shock.
I was gonna say they scared everybody, huh?
Yeah, they're all in shock right now.
Wow.
Did they damage the house?
Yeah.
What did they do to
Wow.
The doors. What else, man? The garage door in the back.
Tore up some stuff. Sue
What are
him,
you gonna do
dude.
now?
I'll try to clear my name. I didn't do anything.
Well, this is one of them.
And I mean, I hope they get the suspect, because I'm not it. They better do their job and find the suspect that did it so they can clear my name. And I'm done. Look at what I'm putting my family through.
You're on
not just
national
them,
news now.
Not just them. Even my parents in Tucson. Yeah.
And your mother-in-law was worried about you. She was saying it doesn't look anything like him.
Yeah, see? That's what I'm telling you guys. Like, what the f***? Come
Why
on.
do you think they came?
No, the mother-in-law actually said it looks like his eyes. That's what they have in the other. Look, it's all in the first reporting, but this is so detailed that I wanted to show this to you guys. This was when they did idiot investigation that led them to nothing, and they tearing up people's houses and stuff like that.
Here, why did you think they came to you?
If I would have known that answer, I would have given it to you, but I don't.
So you have no idea what led them
No,
to
I do
you.
not.
Nothing. They didn't
Nothing.
give. They didn't say car make, a license, nothing.
Nada.
Okay. Okay. Let's go to the next one. Telling you guys this wild stuff. Okay. Like I said, forgive me for the commercials, but it's just, it's how it is. Modern.
Ask. That's the burning question as investigators search for the suspect in the Nancy Guthrie kidnapping. Now, the nation's best-known forensic sketch artist is using her skill and experience to create this sketch of the suspect. Lois Gibson achieved national fame for her 4 decades of work with the Houston.
Why she assume that the guy looks like a Mexican? From the ski mask. Why she assume that he looked like a Mexican? Look. I'm a bit funny, giving commentary and stuff, but look, let's go into it.
Houston Police Department. She says she came out of retirement to create this sketch because, like the rest of America, she wants to bring Savannah Guthrie's mother home.
What did you see when you looked at video of that suspect?
The bottom edge of his nose, and then that thick mustache, and then that hair below the bottom lip. He's young. He's below 40s, I believe. And other than that, he could be Latino, white, Lebanese, just any kind of race.
We want to make it clear this is not an official FBI sketch. And Gibson.
No shit, okay? But you're doing it and you're putting a narrative out there that's incorrect, that has no substantial structure to it. And you're making people go, like their head get crazy and they start pointing and characterizing people and judging people and being racist and all kind of stuff because of the wild goose chase of perception that everybody has. Okay, but look, they might be accurate, so that's why I'm showing you guys.
Acknowledges her sketch may not be totally accurate.
The guy might have tattoos all over his face. I might have the facial hair wrong.
Jesus Christ, he don't got tattooed, at least not on his lips and eyes. Okay, it's ridiculous. Okay, look, I show this stuff to you guys so you can have full context of everything, and you can process and look at how I talk to you guys about different things that's going on, and maybe I'm not the most best at the grammar, but I got a good flow. I love my podcast flow, but it might sometimes you might hear me say I got to do this, or I gotta do that or something like that, and I'm supposed to say I have or I need or something like that. But it's just a way of bantering the central area. And sometimes I say each other instead of saying each other. Forgive me for that. I'm working on it. You always improve the more you talk and you listen to yourself. So, but this is crazy. You know what I mean? It could be anybody. It could be anything. Well, she's a good artist though. I love her work.
but I had to try, and I'll take the hit if I'm wrong.
How many criminals have you helped catch?
I've helped solve more than 1,313 cases.
She's in the Guinness Book of World Records for most criminals positively identified due to the composites of one artist. Ironically, last year, Lois Gibson was featured on the Today Show, the morning show co-anchored by Savannah Guthrie.
She's made a difference in a lot of lives.
You are the first to admit that your sketch may not be completely accurate.
I'm willing to be brave and take a chance and make a mistake.
Okay. Inside Edition, they still doing work, pretty cool. Okay, let's go to the next one. Get you guys down it before I start yelling and stuff.
Men over 60 should not be running, lifting.
God, this stupid AI media stuff is insane.
We are now learning about a glove that was found inside Nancy Guthrie's house that the Pima County Sheriff sent to a private lab.
Now, we know that that's a wrong statement. That's a wrong thing. This is 4 days ago where they kind of said this. Fox News said this. You know what I mean? And that's why that information that I play for you guys, where they said they absolutely have no evidence of any glove found in the house. So look how confident they are.
Down in Florida, rather than the FBI's lab in Quantico or at Quantico in Virginia, which will likely need to be retested. Our next guest asked investigators about using the FBI's resources.
Will the Bureau be submitting the DNA for investigative genealogical investigation relative to maybe hitting a relative, somebody, if you will?
I would say the DNA aspect of this case is being handled by the Pima County Sheriff's Department right now. However, should we get to that point, yes, that would be an option for the FBI to assist.
Joining us outside of the sheriff's
option for FBI to exist, and this guy right here, he's a moron
is Fox
too.
News contributor and retired NYPD.
So I guess I grabbed this clip just to show you guys how incompetent Fox News been on this situation. I'm pretty sure CNN is bad and MSNBC is bad and stuff, but let's just go to the organization that says that they're fair and balanced. Okay.
The inspector, Paul Morrow. Paul, we woke up this morning, we learned there was a glove found inside the house. I assume the very first day that police went in there or deputies went in there. What do you know about that?
That's a false statement, because we know now, because I showed it to you guys, it's officially that no glove was found inside
the glove, and what can this tell us?
So when I asked that question, Ainsley, I didn't know about the glove, but what I did know is that the sheriff had made a statement that they had retrieved DNA from the source that was most likely donated by the perpetrator.
Inside the house, but it wasn't no glove. He said DNA. Well, this glove stuff is the stupid anchors and the actual commentary people just bloviating about random stuff.
He said at the time that they were putting a rush on it and expected to get any matches between 12 to 14 hours. When I asked that question, it was about 3 days later. So my logic was, okay, you didn't get a one-to-one match in the CODIS database. Are you submitting it for the genealogical investigation that can get you potentially to a family member, even a far-flung family member? That takes a lot of investigative muscle, the kind of thing that the FBI can really bring. Knowing those nuances, I purposely asked the FBI agent, what I was trying to ascertain is, clearly we were already at that point. Is the FBI doing it? And then you saw the response. The FBI agent looked a little taken aback and said, Pima County is handling it. I assume that meant he knew at the time the glove was already down in Florida. And that is a potential problem here. One glove. Normally you find two gloves together, right? She has one glove in the house. I assume they can see.
Nope. There's a glove that was found down the street. I mean, not even down the street, miles away, that some random ass Arizona citizen called the sheriff department or the city, Pima County, and said, oh, I found a black glove. And they grabbed that glove and sent it to where all the other evidence was. So this guy commentary, what he's saying that actually was communicated is his own opinion overall of listening to different little things that he's not in context. He's not gathering information, watching, reporting, and watching actual communication that's actually been communicated by the officials, and then giving analysis on that. Where did you hear that it was a glove in the house? Because we know for sure it wasn't no glove. It was DNA found in the house. I don't know if it was saliva or it was something. I don't know what it was. You get what I'm saying? But it's some kind of DNA that's separated from the family and Nancy Guthrie, and it ended up being some unknown DNA. And then but this glove stuff is because some random person, just like the actual sheriff talked to you guys about. You go back to the beginning of the episode, and I actually played the recording for you. So this is just all false information.
The size, it's leather, it's something that she doesn't seem to have. This is crucial evidence. And it is a little bit strange that the impulse was not, let me get this immediately to Quantico, get this thing tested by CODIS, and then if it doesn't work out, we go the more penetrative route, which might ultimately yield the kind of results we're hoping for.
Do you think eventually it will get to Quantico? Because we keep hearing that they're saying, FBI agents are saying, when we do get it, we're going to have to retest it.
You know, here's the way it'll go. It depends on how much of a sample that they had. And I really, really hope that in Florida, and I'm sure they're very cognizant of it, this is nothing against the Florida lab. There is a lab that does the IgG, the kind of genealogical investigation I'm talking about. There's only a couple in the country. The main one is in Othram. It's called in Texas. People may know that one because it was used in Koberger and the Rachel Morin case. So this lab in Florida tests it. I hope they preserve enough of the sample so that the feds can do what they need to do. Ultimately, you're going to have to ping it against databases that, as I said...
In the previous episode, I talk about them putting a tent up 2 weeks after. Like, people have been tracking all the property and ages and everything property. Where are you looking for evidence at the door entrance, additional evidence at the door entrance 2 weeks after? It's corrupt.
Get you to a family, and that's where the real investigative work starts. The FBI can throw their AI at it, and rather than taking weeks and weeks of chasing down family leads that may lead you nowhere, because you don't get one person, you get a group of people, you got to figure out which one might be related. That's where the FBI's power, investigative technical might, is really, really crucial. And that is where I hope they're going here. The problem, Ainsley, is the following. If a relative is not in the databases, and these are the commercial databases we've all heard of, Ancestry and all of these, the problem is if they're not in there, then it's a blind alley. And we're only a mile from the Mexican border. And if, in fact, this goes into that country, it's a smaller chance that you're going to...
But why they kidnapping the lady, taking her into the Mexico, for what? What's the purpose of doing that? Obviously, you're going to have a dead body, or you're going to have a victim or a kidnapped victim that you got to manage the hell out of in order to keep them alive when they're at the end of their life, pretty much. With a pacemaker, needing high medication and all that kind of stuff. It don't even make sense to a cartel organization to take her and not even get no money for it. It's ridiculous. Okay, let's go to the next thing. I just want you to hear with the great minds how they articulate themselves, the news media and all this stuff like this. It's just wow stuff. Wow stuff. Like I said, forget these dumb commercials. Commercials are just ridiculous, especially podcast commercials.
Now, I do want to get right back into your headlines here as we are just past the top of the hour. Take a look. Of course, we do have the latest developments on the kidnapping of Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Today Show co-host Savannah Guthrie. As we near the 2-week mark of Nancy Guthrie's disappearance, Fox News Digital now reporting another glove was found inside of her Tucson area
False
home.
information.
Fox News Digital's Michael Ruiz reporting friction between the Pima County Sheriff's Office and the FBI as he says Sheriff Chris Nanos sent that glove to a private lab in Florida rather than to the FBI's lab in Quantico. That means the FBI...
Like I said, you guys know in the beginning, we don't even listen. This is kind of redundant.
The Guthrie's disappearance says DNA not belonging to her and not belonging to people close to her has been found in her home.
The sheriff also says several gloves have been found during the investigation, including one 2 miles away. Tomorrow marks 2 weeks since Guthrie.
See, I'm just bringing you guys to what's the latest information and how ridiculous the conversation is and confusing it is. And this is the people that you guys pay millions of dollars a year to just talk and give you commentary. Okay. And let alone the investigators are getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars a year while you're struggling.
He was last seen. Vox 4's Peyton Yeager in studio tonight with the latest updates. Peyton.
Heather, that new information tonight coming in an interview with Fox News. The Pima County Sheriff confirms investigators found DNA in Nancy Guthrie's home that wasn't hers. The sheriff wouldn't elaborate or provide much context when pressed, only saying they still do not know who it belongs to. Could this be a critical clue? The investigation on day 13 and no suspect has been identified.
Ridiculous.
Nearly 2 weeks since Nancy Guthrie was taken from her Tucson home, the desperate search continues. In an interview with Fox News Friday, Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos confirms DNA other than Nancy Guthrie and those in close contact to her has been collected from her home. Where the DNA was exactly located is not being disclosed.
They all have hope and belief that this is a rescue mission.
So that implies you know that she was alive when she left that house?
I believe that. There's nothing to suggest she wasn't.
That DNA still pending at a private lab in Florida, not the FBI lab in Quantico, Virginia. Sheriff Nanos assures that decision was an agreement between his department and the FBI, strongly denying recent reports that he blocked the FBI from accessing key evidence.
To even suggest this sheriff would set up and say, we're not giving that to them, that is just ludicrous, crazy. That never happens.
Gloves recovered not far from Guthrie's home are currently being tested. The closest gloves were found 2 miles from Guthrie's property. The sheriff says no gloves were recovered inside her house. The strongest piece of evidence still, this Nest doorbell video from her front door. An armed, masked man wearing gloves and a backpack tampering with the camera. Former FBI senior executive Dennis Brady says right now investigators are trying to maximize the circulation of information.
I think it's an indication that they do not have solid leads on the identity of the kidnapper or the location of the victim.
TMZ also published this video of a man on a front porch of a
And they gotta not let TMZ give them too much information because TMZ is stupid.
On home 8 days before Nancy Guthrie was taken. It's 6+ miles from her home. TMZ on the Post with Lauren Prisbel Friday morning.
And we talked to a high-ranking official in the FBI, and they tell us that this is absolutely being looked at right now. We know that the person that was inside of the home said that this man came up to the home, rang the doorbell, obviously saw the camera, unclear if that's what he was doing when he saw the camera, but then backed away immediately upon being seen, and then he fled the scene.
Weirdo.
Also today, TMZ says it received another email from the person wanting money for naming the kidnapper. This person claims he doesn't want to go through law enforcement, now asking for $100,000.
What if you could clean your retainer at the touch of a button? No more brushing or tablets.
Oh,
Over 4 years
boy.
ago, our team of engineers...
Sorry about this stupid commercial
What if you could
stuff.
clean your retainer at the touch of a button? No more brushing or tablets. Over
Oh
4
my
years
goodness.
ago, our team of engineers knew there had to be a quicker, easier, and more effective...
They just got commercials everywhere. Idiots. Idiot. Okay? Okay, so... Okay, so we're on the next video. Let's go to the next video. And all this
It
is
was doubling
just...
the reward for information leading to the location of Nancy Guthrie, the mother of TV news anchor Savannah Guthrie, to $100,000. The agency released new visuals, including backpack photos, and updated the suspect description after forensic analysis of doorbell camera footage. The FBI described the suspect as a male around 5 feet 10 inches tall, carrying a black Ozark Trail backpack. But tensions between local and federal authorities are complicating the investigation. A U.S. law enforcement official told Reuters that Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos has blocked the FBI from accessing key evidence. That includes a glove and DNA samples from Nancy's home. The FBI sought to process these items at its National Crime Lab in Quantico, Virginia, but the sheriff has insisted on sending them to a private lab in Florida instead. The official said the decision is delaying federal assistance and risks slowing an already urgent case. A sheriff spokesperson did not immediately respond to questions about the claims. Nancy Guthrie was last seen on January 31st, after her family dropped her off at home after an evening dinner with them. Authorities quickly ruled out that she wandered off, given her limited mobility, frail health, and need for daily medication to survive. At least 2 purported ransom notes have surfaced since Nancy vanished, both sent to media outlets with deadlines that have since passed. No proof of life is known to have surfaced following her abduction.
And you guys, I already showed you most of this stuff. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay.
For information leading up to the location of Nancy Guthrie to one. Breaking tonight, the FBI is increasing its reward for information leading up to the location of Nancy Guthrie to $100,000 from $50,000. They're also revealing new details about the suspect, calling him a suspect, describing him as a 5'9" to 5'10" man.
Like, who cares with how tall he is and stuff? It's so stupid. They make it look like it's only like a million people in the whole country is 5'9" and 5'10". Stupid.
With an average build, wearing a 25-liter Ozark Trail hiker backpack. Fox News at Night anchor.
They don't know for sure that that's the backpack. I don't know why they saying that as the backpack. They have no evidence. If we're gonna go on the camera alone, and I'm telling y'all, FBI agents get paid a lot of money. And if all the FBI agencies that's profiling this situation and they saying that that Ozark bag is the bag that he's carrying, we're in trouble. We're in trouble.
Trace Gallagher joins us from outside Guthrie's home in Tucson, Arizona. Good evening, Trace. You know, first time we heard that word, suspect, and very specific now. After it looks like
ridiculous.
They used some video analysis and of the height and weight based on what we saw.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly right. That's probably the reason, Brett, that white tent was out front, because they went in, did some measurements, and then several hours later, we have the first statement from the FBI all day. The FBI is also fascinated by this new video that TMZ obtained. It's about another person, Brett, who's actually trying to open a gate, and he's wearing, at one point, he's wearing 2 separate backpacks. And it seems odd because this is almost the same time of morning, on the morning that Nancy Guthrie disappeared, except it was 5 miles away, and the FBI is talking about a possible correlation if it might be the same person. Well, the timeline doesn't work out because the Sheriff's Department told us that the Ring camera, the doorbell camera here, was disabled at 1:47 in the morning. The video of the new person 5 miles away was taken at 1:52 in the morning, and so it's impossible for that person to disable the doorbell here at Nancy Guthrie's house and then 5 minutes later to be able 5 miles away. But TMZ is saying they believe that the FBI thinks that it was 2:12 in the morning that the actual doorbell video here was triggered. And if that's the case, it would have given that person 5 miles.
But didn't you just say that the FBI told you that it was 1:45, 1:41 or something? And then TMZ said it was a different time? And then I don't know. What are you saying?
Doorbell video here was triggered. And if that's the case, it would have given, away. But TMZ is saying 2 in the morning, and so it's in camera here was disabled at 1:47 in the morning. The video of the new person 5 miles away was taken at 1:52 in the morning, and so it's impossible for that person to disable the doorbell here at Nancy Guthrie's house. And then the department told us that the Ring camera, the doorbell camera here, was disabled It might be the same person. Well, the timeline doesn't work out because the sheriff's department told us that the Ring camera, the doorbell camera here was...
So they got 3 narratives of what time the doorbell was taken out by. You got one from the sheriff department, you got one for the FBI department, and you got one TMZ saying. And yours, it's ridiculous.
Disabled at 1:47 in the morning. The video of the new...
So we can't even... So, okay... The FBI, they're the ones who knows like where the actual video starts and stuff. So with the guy walking up to the door, because they're the one who got the video, and they may have timestamps on that. So where did the sheriff department get their evidence for when the doorbell got detached and everything? That's wild.
Person 5 miles away was taken at 1:52 in the morning, and so it's impossible for that person to disable the doorbell here at Nancy Guthrie's house and then 5 minutes later to be able 5 miles away. But TMZ is saying they believe that the FBI thinks that it was 2:12 in the morning that the actual doorbell video here was triggered. And if that's the case, it would have given that person 5 miles away about 18 or 19 minutes to get here, which brings more intrigue to the whole investigation on whether there is any connection at all. It also brings up why the FBI, the sheriff's office...
They have no idea what the hell is going on. That's what they tell you. FBI, the sheriff department, the FBI don't know because they don't got ground control on everything. So they're just speculating just like the media is. That's sad.
Are now asking residents within a 2-mile radius of Nancy Guthrie's home to kind of submit whatever video they have, video of cars on the street, cars driving by, people driving by, anything they believe is out of the ordinary that might help this investigation.
Wow.
And they want that video to be taken between January 1st and February 2nd. Interesting on the second date because it's a day after Nancy Guthrie disappeared. Brett.
Yeah, and we've had obviously a lot of experts on our air all the time. James Gagliano talking about what you're saying, this call for action.
This damn thing weighs less than my cat, but just cleared 200.
Excuse me about the commercials. I really do hate the commercials. I really do. We're going to the next clip because they're just talking around in circles. I don't even know what they're talking about. Ridiculous. It's ridiculous, okay? Let me see if they got anything else on here.
From the public. Take a listen.
This is the exact antithesis of a cold case. Public interest out here in the Tucson area is through the roof. And I think that there are so many leads coming in now. Each day we learn new developments, and that is advancing the investigation step by step. Remember, I've said all along, this case is going to be solved with the help of the public.
And they've got new video of the backpack putting out, trying to get to specifics about that backpack. And, you know, Trace, to your point, asking for help, we now have sort of a timeline, and you piece it all together, even when the pacemaker goes offline. And one would think investigators are mapping that all out, time second by second.
Yeah. And I think it's important to also note, Brett, that when you talk about this timeline, this is the sheriff's department timeline. Remember, the FBI says there's no timestamp on the video that they went into the cloud and they dragged out of it, right? Rebuilding this video, there's no timestamp. So it's very possible that this...
It's got to have a timestamp on there. I don't know. I'm telling you, it's got to have a timestamp on there.
Video up on the porch behind me taken on February 1st was in fact taken at 12 minutes after 2 o'clock in the morning, and that would kind of open up the possibilities here, and that's why they want more video.
Yeah, they got to stop thinking about
these neighbors and residents around here, Brett.
That's not smart to think about this random person 5 miles away doing whatever the hell they doing with 2 backpacks that it's just neither of them are with the person the suspect have on, and at least we know for sure the clothes are definitely, that guy was a little bummier with the 2 backpacks. Then the guy is clean. He's and everything about his wardrobe is well formed, is well sized, and everything is well like structure on him. And it's just stupid, dumb.
The sheriff's forensics teams in Tucson searching the side of the road near Nancy Guthrie's home. This is the very new stuff now. This, as sources confirm, the FBI is processing a set of gloves found about 1.5 miles from her house. Lieutenant Randy Sutton joins us now. He served 24 years with the Las Vegas Metropolitan PD. He joins us live outside the Pima County Sheriff's Office in Tucson. Randy, your take on what they're looking for that would prompt them to go there at night. What could you maybe infer from this?
Well, in a sense, it shows how desperate they are to literally
very desperate
turn over every stone on this investigation. They are looking for anything, and the reality is that this is very difficult terrain. When you're looking at the wide scope of this search, I mean, it encompasses miles and miles, and with the hope that they will be able to recover something that might have been discarded. Now, I caution about the enthusiasm that has arisen from the discovery of these gloves. Is it possible that they're involved? Sure, and they will diligently, the FBI will diligently examine those for DNA and any possibility. They'll be comparing the material from enhanced photographic images that they recover from the video. They'll do anything to either confirm that those possibly might be the gloves, or that this is a non-starter.
Right. Some people have said it's those gloves, the ones we saw in the video, that might be the ones we found on the ground. They found on the ground, are from the food service business. That might be somebody that works in some type of area where you need the thickness of those like thermal gloves. How do you feel about that?
Well, I personally believe that those gloves were easily found in any Home Depot or Lowe's, and they are used for plumbing work and things like that.
Okay.
And that there was a set of gloves underneath that. That's my belief.
That's why you would have the thicker gloves. So the sheriff hasn't spoken to us in a while.
It was
The
ridiculous.
coordination, the leadership, how is it viewed inside from your contacts?
Now, that's a great question, because this is something that has concerned me from the very beginning. Of course, following this case from the outset, beginning when the sheriff did give his press conferences, the way he gave these press conferences was startling. It was unprofessional. He seemed to be out of his depth, quite honestly. He gave information and he walked back information, and he said this, he said that. Clearly under his leadership, the scene was not secured properly. We're now understanding that the FBI wasn't called in.
They don't even know. They just popping up stuff. They got Mike Tyson's image coming up. What y'all doing,
Until
man?
several days later, that the scene itself was compromised. This is bad leadership, and I can tell you this, that I've been on the ground here for like 10 days now, and I've got pretty good sources in the area when it comes down to how this sheriff is viewed. And he is viewed as a vindictive sheriff, that he has, in actuality, gotten rid of some of his most experienced people, including on the homicide team. The homicide team here is, they don't get that much experience, because I think last year there were only 5 murders, as opposed to Tucson, which had like 50. So to be a homicide detective requires a great deal of time and education, but experience. Well, he got rid of his most experienced because he had disciplinary problems or personal problems with them. Same thing with the pilot of the airplane that needed to be up immediately in the search and rescue. He got rid of the pilot and assigned him back to another assignment. He was their pilot. And in all reality, he is not viewed as an effective leader. He's viewed as a vindictive leader. And we're seeing that, I believe, because he hasn't given a press conference since all of the criticism that arose from his other press conferences. And this is bad leadership. The people have a right to have some transparency.
Yes.
Of course, you don't want to give up the leads or anything, but the people have a right to have some confidence in the law enforcement area here.
I keep going back to John Ramsey told me on Sunday.
Yeah, I want to hear what the commentary hack Brian Kilmeade has to say. But you see it in the investigation. Something ain't right. And he brought up the Gabby Gifford thing. The sheriff brought that up, and it absolutely has no relativeness or context to this investigation. So that was a political thing. So trust me, look, it's anti-Trumpian. Look, it's not me, y'all. Don't beat me up. You get what I'm saying? Let's go to the next one.
I want to know, have you made this mistake with your holster? And by mistake, I mean...
Jesus, these commercials.
News, the FBI releasing new details about the suspect in the kidnapping of Nancy Guthrie, including new images of the backpack they believe the man had on when he went to her home. The FBI says forensic
so incompetent.
of footage recovered.
The news is so incompetent. The news anchors are so incompetent that they kind of go like down a rabbit hole with this backpack being or Ozark backpack. Like, you guys got the video. We all have the video. At any given time, I can go and show it to my audience. Show it to my audience, the video. Okay? I can show you guys the video at any given time. To show you the validation of the video and everything like that. And we can analyze it as we watch it and see the stupid gloves and and all that stuff is freshly new. Like I told you, everything he got on is brand spanking new. And he turns around and you can easily see there's no Ozark logo on that backpack. There's not. You get what I'm saying? So for them to kind of say like this is the backpack, you know, and Let me try to bring this in. Give me a second, y'all. I want to be able to control it. Pause and stuff like that. Hold. I want to stop it where it's at. I don't know why it keeps playing. That's weird. I got two of these in here. Yeah, looks like I do. That is so weird. Why do I got two videos up? Sorry, guys. Yes, one of them is the leaf one. One of them is okay. Yeah, I see what's going on here. I see what's going on here because it's a narrow thing, so. I forgot that I constructed this pretty cool. Wow. Okay, so this one is the one that I need to be able to manage. Okay, y'all. Guthrie. I'm messing up my flow of my podcast. I wanted to show you guys this. But I want to be able to have control of the video. But they're not giving me control of the video. They're looping me. Okay, let me see if that gives me control of it. Okay. Okay. Okay, but anyway, as we show this guy turning around and stuff, you can see that it's not this Ozark backpack that they talking about. I'm gonna let him come up again so you guys can see it. Excuse me. As he turns around, you can see that back is clear of logos. It doesn't have any logos on the back of the bag. It doesn't have any Ozark logo, and you will be able to see it. It's clear. It's got a reflector material on it. It's very clean. It's very clear. Okay. I don't know why they like making it like it's an Ozark backpack and stuff like that. You know, So I just don't get it. I really don't get it. So let's go back to the coverage of this Ozark backpack. It's ridiculous. I don't understand it.
From the camera on Nancy's front porch led them to conclude the suspect is wearing a black Ozark.
They can't even turn him around and show you the Ozark logo. They just randomly saying it because the FBI is releasing it, saying it's the backpack. It is false. It is false information. Okay, it is. I don't even know why they looking for it. It's stupid.
Backpack. The CBS News reporter Andres Gutierrez is live in Tucson, Arizona. So Andres, tell us about the new details we're learning about this suspect.
Well, Juliet, it is important to note that this is the first time that authorities are using the word suspect in this disappearance. They describe this person as a man, 5 to 10, 5'9" to 5'10" as far as his height, with an average build. They ended up doing this because there's some very skilled technicians over at the FBI Operational Technology.
Like, you really need that, knowing what the height is on the actual doorway, and then oh, come on, y'all. We're going to the next clip. This is stupid. Okay? Stupid. What is this? Our system had detected unusual traffic from your computer. What? What? Okay, guys. Let me figure this on out. I don't know what's going on. They don't want they don't want me investigating all the weird stuff going on in this case. Give me a second. Let me look this up. What? Like, Google was trying to have some integrity to what they're. It's ridiculous. Craziness. Just show me my stuff, man. That is so funny. Oh, look. Yeah, we giving y'all the facts. They don't like it. Okay, let's get back to our news. It's stupid.
Lieutenant and founder of the Wounded Blue, along with Betsy Brantner Smith, retired sergeant and spokesperson for the National Police Association. Thank you both for joining us this evening.
SWAT team going back out.
Heard what the sheriff just told Jonathan about the DNA that was found in the house that does not belong to anyone in close contact to Nancy. What do you make of that?
Well, this is certainly a great lead. It doesn't really mean anything that is cement, but this is a major lead that needs to be followed. Now, I was actually in contact with a DNA expert today who told me there's been some very new technology involving DNA that can actually tell so much information that they can come up with a composite of the person that DNA was taken. This is something I've never heard of before. So this would be something that would be really dramatic if it.
Yeah. What do you mean by a composite?
That this DNA test can actually determine eye color and physical characteristics, and
from the
using
DNA
AI technology can come up.
From the DNA, it could say this person's DNA says that they have this eye color, they have this skin complexion, that is this genetic outbreak, and you could kind of somewhat composite how the person look from what their DNA looks like. Interesting. That's an AI software system that they have probably in forensic analysis of DNA. That's pretty interesting.
With a body type and a rough.
That's got to be in Quantico. That's got to be in the FBI possession, not in the sheriff's.
Of what that person looks like. And this is the first time I've heard of this type of DNA test. So I thought I was pretty excited about hearing about it. So if this DNA could be, that doesn't belong to anyone that they have found yet. Now, keep in mind, just because they found DNA, it doesn't mean that this is the suspect. Now, here's something we have not heard. We don't know what the scene was inside. Was there disarray? Was there something found that would indicate some type of sexual assault? Was there anything that showed signs of violence? And this is really essential if we're going to come up with some type of of characterization of what DNA might be when it comes down to this investigation.
Right. So, Betsy, you heard that interview that Jonathan just conducted with the sheriff, and the sheriff tried to downplay the concerns about his office sending DNA samples to that DNA lab in Florida as opposed to the FBI's far more advanced facility in Quantico. What did you make of his answer there?
Well, Charlie, I live here and I know that there's a lot of concern in the community. Is the sheriff cooperating with the FBI? Is the sheriff doing everything he can? We're almost 2 weeks into this investigation.
She's a National Police Association spokesperson, meaning don't listen to a damn thing she got to say, really, because she's biased.
Is he doing everything he can to bring Mrs. Guthrie home, including cooperate appropriately with the FBI? And like Jonathan Hunt said, we only really have his word to go on. And I can tell you, as a resident here, everyone's very frustrated, and it would be so helpful if he, instead of giving these shotgun interviews, if he and the FBI together would hold a daily press conference, talk to all the media here, and let the media and the community know what's happening.
Do you think that his reticence to do that is damaging the investigation?
Well, I think it's damaging his reputation. And yes, it stalls the investigation because people get frustrated. They may not call the tip line. I also have talked to a couple of friends who have said the tip lines are getting clogged with people calling, why isn't the sheriff doing this, or why aren't you doing that? So yeah, if he would hold a...
Like, I want to talk about this bomb squad and this SWAT team on the move again. They're about to make another arrest.
Excuse me. And this is part of the issue, that we don't really know what is happening because there's very, very little communication. I mean, this glove thing, one time we hear it's in the house, the next time we hear it's a mile and a half away.
Yep.
But, I don't know, and really nobody else
And it's making them, everybody looks stupid and incompetent.
does either,
Yeah,
except maybe the sheriff.
I have a kind of a strange follow-up question for you, Randy. When you were talking about the composite, when you look at that video...
Type of finite definition.
Right.
Don't want to hear it.
We are hearing that they're making some personnel changes, but we also have to remember this is one of the largest counties in the United States.
You think that they may be close to maybe picking up another person of interest? You're both very closely plugged in there on the ground, but Betsy, I wanted to ask you, what do you make of the situation where you have the SWAT vehicle leaving the sheriff's office? Are you hearing anything more that makes you think that they may be close to maybe picking up another person of interest?
We are hearing that they're making some personnel changes, but we also have to remember this is one of the largest counties in the United States. It's almost 2 million people, and it's just physically huge. So we're very hopeful that we're going to hear something tonight, but we can't. There's a lot of crime here in Pima County, Arizona, so we can't.
Yeah, those sheriff's department, that's ridiculous. Okay, let me get to the next one. What they doing, man? They're going to get another suspect. But we already know. I'm catching you guys up. You know, whoever they went to go get, they ain't the suspect.
Here now with more on the new video obtained by TMZ, along with another new letter sent to the outlet. TMZ's Harvey Levin is with us. There's not a day, Harvey, that goes by that TMZ and you are not actively involved in this. I've known you for a long time. Let's start with this third email, this third letter you got. What can you tell us about it and shed some light on it?
Well, before I get into this letter, I will tell you that the ransom letter, Sean, that we got days ago, the FBI is keenly interested in it. I'm not going to go into detail, but that letter is feeling like there is something there. The FBI is extremely interested in that letter. As for what we got, this is the third letter we received from a man who says he knows where the kidnapper is. The first two letters, he demanded $50,000. When the reward changed, he had a change of heart. So he sent us a letter at about noon today Pacific time. And he
why y'all going weeks? And they've been talking to this Harvey Levin, been talking, and this guy been sending letters to Harvey Levin TMZ for the last 3 weeks. Okay, y'all got enough money, get it reimbursed from the FBI and stuff like that. And I don't, whatever you got to work out. Why do y'all not have this guy give y'all the evidence? Because you set him up, and everybody's like saying, okay, what if he kind of just runs away with the money? You could track him. You could track the guy. Make sure that he communicates under a lawyer engagement that, you know, he would have to be responsible for catching the person in the conviction and all that stuff, and then he got the money. Or however y'all need to worry about. Okay, let's say the first letter and the second letter, he like don't trust the situation, and he want to be anonymous. If you guys don't want to do the anonymous thing with him, then cool. Once you get the third letter, and you and the sheriff, the FBI, the city, everybody is incompetent. All the news anchors, all the media, they so stupid they don't know who this guy is. That everybody else called him like, oh, he's so weird. Why he got his gun in his pelvis area? He's such a rookie. He looks so stupid. He's trying to put leaves over the camera. He looks confused and all the other stuff. He's better than y'all. This guy, this masked man that actually came up to the door looking really crazy and looking really weird and out of place, and he's kind of weird out about the camera at the door. He goes to grab some shrubs and try to cover it. He act like he got all the time in the world. No matter what, he came into the house like he assumed he could. He did whatever he wanted to do inside the house like he assumed he did. He hit her or something that she got blood leaking out of her, like he's like whatever that situation is, from the doorway, and he was able to get her coming out the doorway into the car or whatever the situation to disappear, and you guys got nothing. FBI, all news media outlets, all the investigators, all the pundits, all the former CIA, former FBI, former sheriff's department, former homicide detectives, all y'all completely got nothing from this incompetent criminal. Okay? And now the only thing you got is some random guy saying, I know who this is. I know who took her. You guys got to figure out a way to give me $50,000 in crypto. You guys got to figure out, give me $100,000 in crypto. Figure it out. Work it out. And I'll give you the guy. By now, it's worth just losing $100,000, just blowing it if the guy goes running off just to end his communication with you. You get what I'm saying? And see if it's valid or it's not. This is stupid.
He does not trust the FBI to give him the $100,000 reward. He said, essentially, I don't trust them. They don't trust me. So I'm going to deal with TMZ as the intermediary. So he wants the.
So how you going to do that? How you going to do that? You going to give him the $100,000? You should. You guys got it.
$100,000, but he wants it his way. Here's
Claim like TMZ. All they have to do is give him the $100,000 if that's in a trusting situation, and then they could claim it as a tax, like a tax write-off in the beginning of the year. And I'm pretty sure by them doing this, the IRS and the government will approve it. I don't get it. Why are we talking about this?
He wants it. A fraction of a Bitcoin worth $50,000. He wants put in the account, this Bitcoin account. We have the link on that. And he says when he gets that money deposited, he will immediately provide. Now, Sean, I think this is really important. The name of the main individual, along with his information for you to track. I think it's interesting. He said main individual. By definition, he is saying that there are others involved. He goes on to say he will not touch the payment until an arrest is made, and at that point he will rely on the good faith of the FBI to deposit the remaining $50,000. Couple more things. He says that he is gambling with his safety, and the quote is his possible freedom. which makes me feel like he thinks that authorities may try and implicate him in this kidnapping. So,
because he probably is with it. He probably is. Get immunity. Get immunity with it. They'll just give it. Make sure that the judge and all of them sign off on it. The FBI sign off on it. Federal government sign off on it, and you're good, dude. But this is like 2 weeks ago, y'all. This is big going on for them talking to this anonymous guy.
he says, and I'm going to quote from the actual letter we got. He says that the manhunt of the main individual that can give you all the answers, be prepared to go international.
Wow.
To me, that can only mean Mexico. So we forward that on to the authorities. They are interested in this. So this is the third letter. So far, no money has been deposited in that account. It perplexes me a little bit, but no money has been deposited, but they are looking at this and they are interested.
It perplexes me a lot. If he really cared about the safety of Nancy Guthrie and he wanted anonymity, he could.
You don't give a shit about no goddamn Nancy Guthrie, you fucking idiot. Excuse my language. Sean Hannity's such a hack that got paid for nothing. He got no political control. He got nothing. He's just getting paid to commentary about it. And I guess that's just makes him successful at it. But for me, this country is dog shit. And a lot of people like Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity and Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens and Nick Fortes and all these people call themselves trying to fight for America. All they were, even Alex Jones and stuff like that, they all bloviate, talk a lot of stuff, and they don't really have any influence. You get what I'm saying? And the country is lost and it's gone because they bicker at each other and they got no substance to what they're doing. So this is ridiculous. And the guy never said he cared about Nancy Guthrie. He said he wanted the money. So don't equate his morality into the conversation because it's a waste of my time, it's a waste of my audience's time, it's a waste of pontificating.
There, who the person is. I understand he said yesterday, you said on this program yesterday, that he feels that he will be viewed as a rat and that he would need the money for his own safety and security?
Yeah, and I guess I hear you, but really that is the whole premise behind any reward, that the idea is you've got to incentivize people with money for them to come forward and do the right thing. So that really is kind of the predicate for any reward. He wants to do it his way.
Okay, I don't know how much more I can listen to this, and because it's just circling around and they just talking about nothing really. I mean, the information about the with this guy.
I talked to Greg Jarrett about that. Well, let's talk about this other video. It seems odd to me. This is now the second video that you have put out. Abduction here.
This is stupid.
I don't know what to make of it. How do you interpret it?
Well,
nothing.
It's a guy who's skulking around a house.
Another pervert, suspect, criminal. You never could. God knows what kind of criminal stuff he was trying to do. A house abduction. I mean, a house invasion, crazy stuff like serial killer, like sexual assault type of stuff. You got God knows what type of knucklehead this was in his second video.
And this was a robbery gone wrong.
I don't even want to hear it.
Robber who's going around the neighborhood. This just my sense is, and I don't know it, but my sense is this is much more of a targeted thing, and these other videos may yield nothing.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree. Okay, let's go to the next video.
Late Friday night, authorities descended on a home less than 2 miles from the Nancy Guthrie.
So that SWAT team was going after somebody. So check this out, y'all.
So late Friday night, authorities descended on a home less than 2 miles from the Nancy Guthrie home in Tucson, Arizona. 3 people are detained, we understand. They are being questioned in relation to the disappearance of Savannah Guthrie's mother. Joining us now live from the scene in Tucson, Arizona, Fox News correspondent Max Gordon. What's the latest, Max?
Hey there, John. Well, it's been a very active night here in the Tucson area for law enforcement. A lot of developments in the Nancy Guthrie case. Let's get you up to speed. So this all started for us. We first heard wind of this at around 8:30 p.m. local time. That's when we were getting some rumors that there's some law enforcement activity very close to Nancy Guthrie's house. We drove on over here. It was only about a 5-minute drive, about 2 miles driving, and that's where we saw a very heavy law enforcement presence. That's where we later learned 3 people were detained, 2 males, and then 1 woman who is the mother of one of those 2 males, detained at a house in this neighborhood. This is a very upscale neighborhood. A lot of these homes listed on Zillow for more than $1 million.
Absolutely. So they go search wealthy people or people that got good money and stuff as suspects for like a 84-year-old woman that's not having really confrontations in the neighborhood and stuff like that, where she's just like an asshole lady that's just a bitter, angry lady and stuff like that. She don't, you see her 100 times on the air with her daughter on news segments and stuff. So she don't even have that kind of personality. And so all of a sudden, this rich family or this well-to-do family with 3 sons want to go do something to this old lady because of what? And why y'all searching a multi-million-dollar house in people that's got liquid? They got money. They living a good life. Okay? They are throwing at everything. They just doing a dragnet. It's ridiculous.
And since
it should be a lot of lawsuits after this.
Here, over the past couple of hours, we've seen a lot of vehicles, law enforcement vehicles, going through this barricade. You can see behind me 2 SWAT team vehicles leaving the scene, and then several unmarked vehicles, potentially FBI vehicles, going on in, a whole convoy of them, really, as investigators comb through a house, we believe, in this neighborhood. It's unclear at this point if those 3 individuals that were detained lived in that home. It's also unclear if these individuals that were detained are actually suspects. Now, there is a second scene of interest. It's unclear if the second scene of interest is tied to the Nancy Guthrie case, but
if you're detaining people, they're suspects. You know what I mean? They're suspects until proven otherwise. And to whatever investigation that you guys doing proves otherwise. You don't detain people. You don't go invade their house and do major searches. They said the other guy, the Hispanic guy that was a package delivery guy, they went into his house and ransacked everything and everything like that. And they doing the same thing in these people multi-million-dollar house. This is wow.
That's law enforcement, local law enforcement, as well as FBI agents have been on the scene of this second scene where a car was stopped in a Culver's fast food parking lot. Evidence tape was...
Look at that, a Range Rover.
Tape. 1 individual...
They pull it, they investigate the guy in a Range Rover, okay? Brand new one, too. They don't know what the hell. This guy profile is not even in this, like, why would he kidnap or his brothers and his mother kidnap this lady? And they doing real good. He going to a good burger place to grab some burgers, and they pull him over and they searching the Range Rover. Y'all, come on, y'all. Y'all not ready to say that this is totally incompetent coming from everybody? The sheriff's department, because they're the lead investigator, and then that the FBI is such a hacks that they won't come out and call them out now, and they losing credibility just standing idly by watching this case get bumbled.
Was detained in that instance. and this Range Rover, the silver or gray Range Rover, had its license plates covered, and it was then put on a flatbed and towed out of that parking lot. This is all based off of what our photographer on the ground was seeing. So a second scene of interest. Again, unclear if that second scene is tied to the Nancy Guthrie investigation. This scene behind us here, this home here in this neighborhood in the Catalina foothills, it has been confirmed tied to the Nancy Guthrie investigation. So in total, we've had 4 individuals detained this evening. Again, unclear if any of these individuals are suspects in this case. Law enforcement has released very few details. Earlier in the evening, it appeared that the Pima County Sheriff's Department was going to release a statement to us, and then several hours later, they
didn't do it.
Essentially, they just had a law enforcement investigation, operations going on, and that the FBI had asked them to not release further details. So still a lot of questions about what exactly has transpired this evening, how all this relates to the Nancy Guthrie case. Again, everyone just hoping that Nancy Guthrie is still alive, but at this hour,
such a ridiculous situation. Let me see. I'm 2 hours and 10 minutes in. I'm sorry, guys. But we got to go a little bit longer just to update you to what's going on up to date now. I'll try to keep it within a couple videos or something, and then we're up to date. But I just wanted you guys to know what's up to date. And really, that's what I had in my previous episode. They got nothing. They got nothing.
many, many questions remain. Back to you.
All right. Thanks very much. Max Gordon reporting live there from Tucson.
Watch what magnesium.
These commercials, man, so stupid. So stupid. Okay. Let's go to another clip, okay? Let's go to another one. You know what? Let's utilize this. Okay? Let's do update. That way we ain't gotta go look at no others. There we go. Okay. Ridiculous. They don't have anything. Okay. Go to 3 people detained. Okay. All right. My spelling is ridiculous. See what this says.
So late Friday night, authorities descended on a...
Oh, yep, we just got to do watching this, so we don't need to look at that. Let's see. Keep sending emails, 3 people today. Okay, we already got the 3 people detained. What's this?
Absurd. It's making everybody nervous. It's just surreal, and we just can't imagine how the family is.
Yeah, we don't need to hear that. Good.
Breaking news: Savannah Guthrie's mother.
Dr. Phil here, and I wanted to talk to you.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. Just seeing every time I go in to search for the case and the people that's detained, 3 people. I think that they got released though. So release. So let's talk about that. Go to what they actually doing. Okay, give me 1 second, y'all. I gotta try to pull this on up because it's all incompetent, really. Even in me looking this up because it's all over the place. See? Okay. Okay. Sorry about this, guys. I'm just trying to pull this on up, and because you know, they try to scrub a lot of stuff to stop them from looking incompetent. You know what I mean? For me to go back and go through the records and stuff and find this stuff to you guys so you can kind of see what so ridiculous and stuff. And I hate that if I put my cursor over some of these things, ridiculous. So what I'm gonna do is, because they're not giving us a proper update to them detaining the 3 people. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to where I kind of know where it's at. Give me 1 second. 1 second, so I can just pull it up. Trying to give you guys an overall objective narrative and media commentary on it, but you got to go through the archives and even just to keep things in context, because everybody's kind of covering or taking off the algorithm what was like information that they don't really want to kind of talk about no more, because the greatest thing about the internet and context is that you're going to get analyzed from what you said before, and if does that hold up to what's going on up to date. And when people kind of look at how the news covered the Nancy Guthrie situation, you find out that they just wow. They just wow, and they not slowing it down and just say, hey, we got nothing. We got nothing on it. You know? So okay, wait. Okay, so I want to do two videos that I want to talk to you guys. I do want to get an update on the actual 3 people that they detained, because we need to be able to objectively communicate that really they got nothing. Really got nothing on those people. Okay, prepare for possible very dangerous situation. Okay. That's stupid. I'm not gonna put that. Because one lady said she think it was a revenge plot, but she got no evidence on that. None, 0. So I'm not gonna even go into that, because it's speculation, and there's enough speculation going on. You know. Yeah, agents named most important evidence. Okay. Maker, IG, wow, man, I can't find that they released the 3 suspects. You know, they trying to keep it like I don't get that.
Live right outside of Nancy's home in Tucson. You heard Griff talk about the fact that the people who were detained yesterday, all of them were let go. What is the strategy, in your view, in your experience, which is deep, in questioning a suspect in this type of case and then letting them go? Talk to me about that.
Sure. So, Rachel, we saw this happen across the last couple of days. We had the one stop and the execution of the search warrant down in Rio Rico, which is about 60 miles south of our position here. A suspect was released after being car stopped, and then a search was conducted at the home. The home was eventually turned back over to the family. You know,
Crazy.
people read into that. The same with 2 nights ago. We had some police activity and 3 people.
You crazy? They put that guy's Range Rover on a flatbed, took it to an actual forensic lab, and they got nothing. They invaded a multi-million-dollar house, did a major search inside the house, all over the place, going all over, looking in their closet, everything to see if they got the clothing or anything that resembles some of the wardrobe and everything that was going on. They invaded these people's life like crazy. The second, the Fourth, and Fifth Amendment, they just completely violated a total of like 5 people so far. The Hispanic guy, the delivery guy, and the mother and her 3 sons. They completely violated these people's rights with nothing. Okay, so now you're just saying, oh, it's just routine. It's just, you know, they did it so gently and put it back. No, they ransacked their stuff. They violated, put their car on a put one of the guy's car on a flatbed, rolling away, put it in the evidence, treating him like an actual suspect or a person of interest. That's against their 4th and 5th Amendment right. And you got piece of shit judges in Arizona signing away this stuff, signing away warrants and all kind of crazy stuff. It's just ridiculous, man. And for them to act like it's just something we gotta do. We just gotta do it. It's wow. They out of control. They out of control. Really, they are. It's just ridiculous. Let me let them keep talking.
Were briefly detained, 1 from a vehicle. We know that a vehicle was impounded and is being gone over with a fine-tooth comb right now for any potential, evidence that can be harvested from that. This is normal in complex investigations. These types of things happen.
Whatever.
And I want to put this in perspective. We have 30,000 active leads right now. 30,000. I want to say in the 9/11 case, you know, the case of the World Trade Center attacks and the Pentagon attacks, we had maybe 500,000, and in the New York office alone, maybe a couple of 100,000. So put that in perspective. 30,000 is a large amount of leads for one case like this. When these folks are stopped, there's a number of things that we can do. Now, again, if someone is in custody, right? A custodial interview requires the reading of Miranda rights. You have to tell them you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, we'll appoint one for you. And at any point in time, the suspect says they want an attorney, you have to stop the interview. The investigative detentions are different. You can talk to them because it is not considered quote-unquote custodial. And how does law enforcement do this? Well, there's been a big sea change in how we do interviews. In the old days, now I want you to think about NYPD Blue and Detective Sipowicz, you know, throwing the coffee cup down and yelling at the suspect. Those are aggressive and adversarial interviews. Today, it's a lot different. We use open-ended questions, things like, tell me about this, explain this, describe this, and then we watch for signs, how the suspects or the person of interest, verbal and nonverbal cues give us more information. But it's a much more, I wouldn't say cozy, but it's a much friendlier relationship when you're trying to elicit information from somebody, as the techniques have changed over the years.
Is that more effective?
You know, it's different. You know, Rachel, you're probably thinking good cop, bad cop, right? We've all watched Law and Order.
This is stupid. All he doing is giving a bunch of excuses. A bunch of excuses, okay? Let's get to some real stuff, okay? I'm going to bring you guys up to date.
Men over 60 should not be running, lifting, or crunching.
I'm telling y'all, these commercials.
So you don't believe it was a burglary gone wrong? Is that what you're saying?
I believe it was a kidnapping.
All new at 2, Fox News going one-on-one with the Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos as the search for Nancy Guthrie intensifies and investigators zero in on key leads. Welcome to a brand new hour of America Reports. I'm John Roberts. Thank you for filling in this week.
You are most welcome, John. The bill will come later in the week, so look out for that in the mail. It's great to be with you.
The check will be in the mail, too.
No, thank you. I look forward to receiving it. I'm Jillian Turner in for Sandra today. So this interview now with all these breaking developments come as the sheriff has also been saying that the entire Guthrie family is cleared from this investigation. They are not suspects. We're also getting new details on investigators.
Well, I mean, I don't know if they was ever it had anything to do. Once we seen the video of the guy, literally, that kind of most likely said it was a some kind of home invasion, kidnapping, some situation that they might just not have the best of luck and it happened to him. So, yeah, if he wants to clear him, he can clear him. But really, he don't know who the hell did this.
Working directly with Walmart, trying to trace the exact items that the suspect was seen wearing on camera. Let's get
waste of time.
Correspondent Jonathan Hunt now, who just sat down with the sheriff for this exclusive interview. Jonathan, lay it out for us. What did you learn?
A lot of breaking news out of this interview, Gillian and John. The sheriff had just come from the latest briefing on this investigation. And I asked him first of all about the glove that we've all heard about, the glove that on which they had found DNA, which was being tested and was going to then be entered into the FBI's CODIS system, which is the national tracking system for DNA that they might have from people who have committed crimes in the past. His answer to that: not good news for the investigation. Listen here to the sheriff.
The DNA on the glove that was found 2 miles away was submitted for CODIS, and I just heard that CODIS had no hits.
No hits on the DNA found in the glove?
Correct.
So you are no closer to a suspect as a result of the DNA test?
What the DNA off on the side of the road is just ridiculous, dude. That's a wild goose chase. They should have never been running 2 miles away. A bunch of gloves, black gloves on the ground. It could be from random people. It could be from investigators. It could be from people that's working in the area. I don't know. It's stupid. It's a waste of time.
So we broke the news last Friday that they had tested also DNA that was found inside Nancy Guthrie's house that they believed was stranger DNA. Well, the sheriff also told us no CODIS hit on that DNA either. Then I talked to him about this reporting that has been out there, not repeated by us, that this was a burglary gone wrong. The sheriff said it was not. Listen again to the sheriff.
So what's the point of coming in the house and killing her?
I believe it's a kidnapping.
I believe it was a kidnapping.
Targeted kidnapping.
Yes, I believe whoever...
For what reason, dude? To not burglar? Rise? And obviously the guy got brand new gear on, so I don't think he's in need for money and stuff like that. And they're actually investigating people at Range Rovers. It's just ridiculous.
Knew what they were up to.
So do you believe...
Knew who they were after.
What?
So we also talked to the sheriff about these reports of the FBI going to gun stores. They have indeed been going to gun stores, but there was a report out there that they had narrowed it down essentially to 40 suspects they were asking about and showing pictures of. Here's the sheriff's response to that.
Tell me this if you can, Sheriff. Is everybody in Tucson still a suspect, or have you narrowed it down to, say, a few dozen people? We've heard, for instance, the FBI is asking about 40 people at gun stores.
That's not true.
Okay, so have you narrowed it down to a few dozen, or are we still...
We haven't narrowed it down to anything other than we have certain pieces of evidence that we're looking at to try to find this individual, whether it be DNA, whether it be that ring camera video, whether it be evidence at a Walmart that might lead us to somebody.
They got nothing.
Other important points from this wide-ranging interview, John and Gillian. I asked the sheriff if there are any indications at all that Nancy Guthrie may have been taken across the border into Mexico, just about 65 miles or so south of us here. He said no indications of that. He said he believes the FBI has been checking that, but no indications of that at this point. And I followed up with him on the news that he put out a statement about yesterday, the clearing the Guthrie family, their siblings and spouses. He said to me 100% they are victims not connected. So a lot of news,
Wow.
but the bad news in terms of the investigation, that DNA, neither the DNA in the house or the DNA on the glove coming back with a hit on the FBI's national database. I hate to use the phrase back to square one, John and Gillian, but if we are talking about the squares that have been moved forward, we're certainly in the low single digits in terms of this investigation. John and Gillian?
Ridiculous.
I mean, it's also got to be pretty disappointing, for lack of a better word, for the family watching this to hear him say they haven't narrowed down the search to anybody, meaning no suspects right now.
Extraordinary, Gillian. When you
And you got the FBI going to a gun store and just randomly, like, looking at random people that they think are suspicious people or whatever. I don't understand that. Meaning that they talk, all the people that they were talking to in the neighborhood, some of the people, if they had certain physicality to them, that they just suspected them must been just something shady about you. They put them on the list, and it came up to about 40 people, and you got the FBI just randomly asking gun stores. It's crazy.
And you can feel the frustration in the sheriff. Obviously, he has come in for some criticism from some quarters, but I will say now, having got to know him a little bit over the last 16 days that we've been here, he is a man who wants to solve this crime, quite obviously. He has decades in law enforcement. There's Monday morning quarterbacking going on, maybe some mistakes.
Dude, it's not no, look, I've been covering this from the beginning of it, and if you go back to my first episode to now, if I was wrong about anything that I previously said in the first episode of this, of me investigating or even just commentating what I think about the situation, then you could say that it's Monday night quarterbacking or Monday quarterbacking and stuff. But if all of it plays out to be completely incompetent, completely just throwing things up in the air, it's bad communication, it's bad investigating, it's bad common sense, it's bad looking at the actual bird's eye view of the situation. Somebody more smarter or something's got to happen different, because if it's somebody kidnapped somebody and they took their body over, or they took the person over to Mexico, and you say, no, that didn't happen, then what do you think happened to make you think that didn't happen? This is it's crazy.
Mistakes have been made. That's not for me to say, but this is a man who has a lot of compassion for the Guthrie family, really wants, just like
even this guy, he's compromised with his perception of the sheriff, his perception of the FBI or whoever, because he's talking to them and they're giving him communication. But that doesn't mean that they're competent. That doesn't mean they're competent. So you got to not take out the equation that they're not competent. You get what I'm saying? Data, facts, evidence should show how competent they are. Look at all those news people and all the sheriff's department cars and stuff. And these people got nothing. Bunch of people getting paid for nothing. Commentating and getting paid for nothing.
Every single
Where my money at? Where my money at? Where my viewers at? Come on, y'all.
Official on the ground here. They want to solve this case, but clearly they are very frustrated, and clearly they are struggling to find out where Nancy Guthrie is and who took her.
So, Jonathan, here's something that a lot of folks I talk to are trying to wrap their head around. If this was not a robbery gone bad, if it was a kidnapping, but this idea that the ransom notes was a dead end, and we're not hearing anything from kidnappers. I mean, the object of kidnapping is you get something,
get money
for the person that you've kidnapped. So what's this all about?
Meaning, why say that? Why be a law enforcement, a sheriff saying that it was a kidnapping and be so adamant about it being kidnapping and it's no structure of kidnapping? Why say that? Why say that? And you don't have any factual evidence of it being a kidnapping. You idiot.
Well, that's an open question, John, and a very good question. I asked the sheriff about the ransom notes, and he said that is mainly an investigative lead for the FBI. Clearly, the ransom notes have not been ruled.
So after they fell over 3 weeks, they're going to turn it over to the FBI now and say, okay, we got nothing. Y'all can take it over. Complete Okay, he's just ridiculous.
Inauthentic or entirely authentic at this point. But the sheriff was quite adamant, not a burglary. I did ask him about, was anything taken at all? He said he couldn't talk about that. I asked him again about the forced entry or no forced entry. He wouldn't talk about that. And he said quite plainly, there are things we are not going to tell you because they are so germane to this investigation that they could compromise this investigation if we tell you. And as we've said throughout, John, they have every right.
If it's not the family and it's not anybody that they know, like, what do you think it's like some of the people that's working on? But I think they cleared them with DNA. If you got the DNA from the glove, you got the DNA from the lawn care person, the pool guy, the maintenance crew, the delivery people, the people that you guys have kind of took DNA about, you arrested and you took their DNA, you got all that back because you're saying that you got evidence from the gloves not having any like DNA from any of the pretty much suspects or the people in the criminal database. So you can't even arrest the people that do, so you got nothing. Look, y'all, I want you guys to understand, they got evidence from the gloves. They got evidence from the actual DNA that they found in the house. Now, once that DNA came back that it wasn't a suspect that was like logged as a criminal, like they've been in the criminal database, they've been in prison, they've been in like another criminal location, because also that's what's in that CODIS database is also suspects of other cases. They may have not found the suspects, but they have the DNA of other suspects. So it came back that it's not on the gloves, obviously, because that's probably some people that's working and stuff and they not criminals and stuff like that. So that's not in the database. Also, the DNA on the glove didn't match the DNA that's inside the house. The DNA on the glove the gloves that they found on the side of the road, it didn't match the DNA that's in the house. And then the DNA in the house didn't match anybody that did criminals or any crimes that was in previous cases. Okay. Additionally, all those DNA that's in the house, that's on the glove, didn't match the Range Rover and his two brothers and those three guys and the mother. It didn't match the actual Mexican guy. And you got this piece of shit news media that won't come out and say, by the way, the DNA, and even the sheriff not saying it, by the way, the DNA the DNA cleared or didn't clear the package delivery guy or the three people that got arrested in the Range Rover. We let them go, and obviously we got DNA back, and it doesn't come up under no system. They actually tested against those people, and those people are innocent too. But they didn't say that in the reporting, and they're not even asking them to it. It's ridiculous.
Keep whatever information they want from us. But clearly, yeah, it's a struggle. But equally clearly, the sheriff believes in his gut. And I asked him his gut as a decades-long law enforcement officer what he thinks this is. And he said, I believe it is a kidnapping, not a burglary gone wrong.
All right, well, we'll see if we ever hear from the kidnappers. Jonathan Hunt for us.
I don't even understand that. Don't even understand it. Okay, let's go to the last clip, and I'm going to end this. Okay, guys? Just want to get you guys up to date.
I'm 65, and today I'm switching from doing...
Oh, gosh. My goodness. Look at this stuff. This is what I'm talking about with these commercials. They're out of control.
Let's bring in Fox News contributor and criminal defense attorney Josh Ritter for more on this. Josh, put it all together for us. We got DNA on the glove that doesn't match anybody in the CODIS base, which just means that whoever had the DNA on the glove, whoever was wearing the glove, is probably not a convicted criminal. We got different DNA in the house. The sheriff thinks it's a kidnapping, not a robbery gone bad, yet there's nothing from the kidnapper. So where does the case stand at this point?
I don't think there's an easy way of putting it that it's discouraging. These appear to be setbacks. You were hoping for some sort of hit, some sort of lead, some sort of way to move the investigation forward. with that glove that they found. But especially discouraging is the idea that the glove doesn't even match the DNA inside of the home, so we can't even determine at this point if the glove is even involved or if it's just a false lead, just some random glove that was left behind. And the idea that the DNA, the unidentified DNA found inside the home, which is their best lead as far as the forensic goes, comes back to nothing. And CODIS, again, yes, it's nice that they have a sample, but now they don't have any anything to do with that sample unless they're testing it against people that they're detaining. As far as the comments about whether or not this was a kidnapping, a residential burglary gone bad, I think it's really a distraction at this point, because that person showed up with obvious bad intentions. He's got a mask on, he's got gloves on, he's got a gun, he's got a backpack.
Yeah, he's wilding out. I wanna play this because this is just something I just seen real quick, and I just want to see what the hell this is, because this is just idiotic too. What are they talking about? They got the title called, says FBI investigating DNA lead after finding glove that appears to match. Like DNA leads after finding glove that appears to match Nancy Guthrie suspect. But they just said, and we talking about 2 hours ago. We talking about today at about 12 noon. We just got to playing with well, that was at 2 o'clock, 1 or 2 o'clock. That they final analysis from the actual sheriff today at 2 o'clock this afternoon said that the glove didn't match anybody in the database and it didn't match the actual inside the house. So what? Like, yesterday they're saying this is like 24 hours. Because actually this is, if I go to this, where this video was, is February 16th. That was yesterday. You know what I'm saying? So what is they saying in this one?
And I asked that because there have been stories. I'm correspondent Matt Finn, covering this story. Gonna start right off the top and ask you guys something, and that is, what are your thoughts on this? Drop your questions and comments, please. Give us your honest feedback.
This is a field reporter just doing some stupid commentary by himself, where yesterday he released a video and said FBI investigation DNA leads after finding glove that appears to match Nancy suspect. And then today they come out like he even got commentary that he was doing. What did you hear?
Because I'm seeing a lot of people SWAT incidents where people were taken into custody. I think each time there were people who were perhaps expecting that to be the one, someone to be arrested and charged. Then we also have this back and forth. We have the sheriff and the FBI talking to us. It seems like a direct plea. And I just can't imagine what Savannah Guthrie's going through. I think we kind of chatted for a second. And, that was only drive north of here. So all types of gloves being found. Understandably, everybody's focusing on gloves. Well, there's one in particular that is getting attention because it may be a match, like a physical match, to the gloves that the masked figure has on in the Nest Cam. And by the way, we are getting comments. I'm going to respond to them.
And we kind of know that his little commentary is just complete idiotic. No match, okay? Not even
inside that home.
Not even a DNA in the house is a match with the gloves, okay? It's just ridiculous.
Some sort of crime, and perhaps most likely some sort of crime of violence, whether or not that's a kidnapping, whether or not he showed up to take things from the home. I don't think that gets us any closer to finding the individual or finding Nancy, and kind of quibbling over words or what his intentions were. Just seems like we're debating over theories, especially when it's coming from law enforcement. You would think the focus would just be on finding new evidence and finding suspects, which apparently at this point they have.
They can't because they political hacks.
Josh, this is Jillian.
I'm gonna go out on a limb. This pretty much was happened today, 2 hours ago. Okay, when we talking about, at least they uploaded this is about 2 hours ago. So let's say I know the shows that they're doing this, so this is at least like 1 to 2 o'clock Eastern time. So this is pretty much up to date. The sheriff don't got nothing. He need to step the fuck back. He need to let people that kind of run after serial killers and mess with DNA and forensics and stuff, he need to let them take over. But I think it's all, excuse me, all they taking over is nothing. All the stuff got squandered. The time that you would have been able to catch this person is squandered. I don't know what TMZ is looking at. I have no idea what the Harvey Weinstein is. I'm going to play a video of him. I don't know what he's doing. I really don't. You get what I'm saying? So I don't know why I got the hiccups, but let me let them finish up.
It struck me when the sheriff said in response to Jonathan's question that they have not, he asked him if they had narrowed this down to a few dozen potential suspects. And the sheriff said, well, we haven't narrowed it down to anybody. And they have been saying they don't have a suspect. So in a sense, it's not new. But hearing him put it like that was just especially, I don't know, disappointing. If you're the family listening to that, what do you read into it?
It's very disappointing. We're now into week 3, 16 days that she's been missing, and you would think that they would at least have a pool of likelies, a pool of possible people of interest that they would be working off of. But the idea, according to the sheriff, that this is just wide open, everybody in the area and beyond is a suspect. To me, you know, Jonathan.
And that's how you give analysis to it. It's wide open. It's from people in the area to beyond. You don't know who it is. And I love my podcast and I love my coverage of it because I've been accurate from day one.
Said if we're not at square one, we're in the low digits. I agree. It does seem as though this investigation is not all that further along than it was initially. And it's starting, yes, is it disappointing, discouraging, frustrating? We're hoping there might be more taking place behind the scenes we're not aware of, but as we stand here right now, it does not seem hopeful.
So one of the things that might be going on, because you don't get a DNA match with CODIS from the DNA that was in the house or the DNA from the glove, do they now move to IgG, investigative genetic genealogy, as they did in the Koberger case, to see if they can come up with a match?
Absolutely, and I'm glad that you referenced the Koberger case, because one glimmer of hope that we can glean out of that is that in the Koberger case, they had actually identified through the reconstruction of a family tree and the use of IgG, they had identified Koberger as a suspect, and that was not information shared for 11 days until he was actually arrested. So it could be that they're well on their way to trying to at least narrow down relatives of who this person is, especially the unidentified.
Yeah, okay. That's it. Okay, let's go to this Harvey Levson, his most up-to-date stuff, and then we're done, okay? It's ridiculous, okay? I just want to make sure you guys got somewhere to come to for, you know, the full analysis on this, because it's very ridiculous, really. You know?
Welcome to TMZ Live. The glove that was found in a field that was similar to the glove in the Nancy Guthrie kidnapping, the results are in, and there is no DNA hit in the CODIS system. The CODIS system is the FBI's file of 57 million people, most of whom have had criminal records, and at least for that, no hit. So a setback.
And let me break this down to you guys, because the other Fox News was talking about there's no, people in the criminal record, even if, and they talking about the coldest situations. I'm going to preemptively put out my opinion, and all of this, all my podcasts is my opinion, my perspective, and you guys can seek and source out if I'm accurate or not, or whatever my opinion is, okay? But even when it hits it, and let's say like it's the person's cousin, or it's the person's like a suspect that does criminal stuff, their cousins and stuff like that, or their relatives or something like that. If it has a 40% accuracy in genetics, it'll ping that, and that person you pretty much get close to, okay, wow, this may not be this person, but it's his cousin that got arrested, or his uncle that got arrested, or his family member that got arrested, or his son that got arrested, or something like that, or his uncle or his father got arrested. They will be able to see it, because once it comes back and say 99% accuracy that it doesn't belong to any of the 50 million semi people under the database, you're not gonna find this person. You know what I'm saying? Now, genealogy, I guess if they got citizens, if somebody's here and then they could kind of kidnap her and take her over to Mexico, but they got people, relatives and family members here, it's just ridiculous, man. They got nothing.
But it's not over, because there are other ways that that DNA can be tested using something that many of us have used in the past.
Right. That we have.
So was she sexually like hurt or something? And they just don't want to say that because of Savannah Guthrie. She don't want to put that out by her mother or something like that. But it's to the investigation and stuff like that. And in addition to that, like, y'all got nothing. Nothing. This is such a political driven thing where everybody trying to like spare the feelings of Savannah Guthrie, and that may have put the investigation 3 weeks behind. Or they may not like Trump, and that may have put the investigation 3 weeks behind.
Using the PCR test.
No. I'm talking about genealogy. That there is a secondary way that authorities have actually used genealogy testing to figure out whose DNA it is.
Right.
And
most of the big companies don't participate in this.
23andMe and Ancestry.com do not participate for privacy reasons. But there are smaller companies that law enforcement has used in the past. And what they can do is, even if they don't get a direct hit, they can get a hit that's very similar of a relative. And what they do is they just start fanning out when they find a close hit.
So they ain't got nothing. And even him talking to the actual guy that keep calling in and giving I know who it is. They ain't got nothing. Okay, guys. I think this is look. Let me do a little quick search. But I think this is everything up to date. I mean, yeah. Okay, he received a 4th letter. Let's see what he says in this. Okay, let's go to this video. If they let me pick it.
Watch what magnesium does to your bowels.
If you have more than 4 times after you...
Come on, let's stop with the commercials.
It is Monday morning. We have received a 4th letter from the same person.
That would have been yesterday, right?
Who says that he knows where Nancy Guthrie is, and he wants money in return for the information. Essentially, he wants the reward. So I have something to say to you, and I have already talked to the FBI about this, that if you are not real, you're committing a crime, and you should know that. And this is a serious federal crime. If you are real, this is the 4th letter you've sent, and I should tell everybody that in this letter, it says, I know what I saw 5 days ago south of the border, and I was told to shut up, so I know who he is, and that was definitely Nancy with them. This is the 2nd time
he sound like a fake. He sound like a fake. Because she would be in no way to being exposed to some random guy being around them. Now, if they're going through a tunnel, if they're going through some kind of system that of illegal migration type of tunnels, or because they got that stuff, and that's how terrible our government is. Because literally, it's a lot of cartel members and traffickers. They actually build like. You can go in the house near the border and go downstairs and like literally go through a tunnel that they dig from all the way from our side all the way over to the other side. They actually dig it, and sometimes they dig it so far that it will come up into like a restaurant, or it'll come up into like a automotive place or something that belongs to the cartels and stuff like that. So they have that structure, but let's say like this guy, he's probably one of the people that like helps do the trafficking and stuff. You know what I mean? So he got actually knowledge of these tunnels and a conduit way of getting people into the country illegally and not. That's why our country is so terrible, and you got to do an overwhelming illegal migration, illegal immigrant task force. And it sucks because people won't come out the shadows and document themselves as been coming through here illegally. So you don't even know the millions of people that are here legally, the millions of people that are here legally, the millions of people that are here illegally, the millions of people that are here that we didn't even see cross the border because they came through tunnels, they came through all kind of other stuff. And it's such a mess. So this person that he's talking about, he may have knowledge, or he may be pretty much part of the organization of trafficking or underground trafficking, drug trafficking stuff. And he's seen that them kind of carry her through one of the ports, carry her through one of the tunnels or the systems, and she was still somewhat coherent. You know what I mean? Which I'm not saying that it's possible. It sounds bullshit to me. I'm gonna go on the record and say it just don't sound accurate. Why they taking the lady? I don't understand why deal with a person for the next 15 years or 10 years or a couple years that they live in, and they're gonna live in capture, and she gonna just probably give up because she physically can't even deal with the stress and all the other stuff. Why deal with that? What's the leverage there if you don't want no money? You don't want nothing. If like you're so sexually horny that you want this lady? Come on. It's not that. You guys, I don't know what this is. I don't know what he's talking about with this guy saying that they taking all this time and energy and everything, and they're not talking to the person with the money. And the cartels, they making billions of dollars on sex traffic, on trafficking, on migration situations, on drug trafficking and everything. Why do they need $6 million from a TV anchor? And that's not even gonna keep them from being able to kind of get the money. And the cartel's working in a big, because in order to transfer her from here to Mexico, you got to have a hell of an organization. That organization, they business model is the $6 million that they're going to get randomly from a bunch of people they're going to be kidnapping all over the country and stuff. Wow, man.
He has referred to more than one person involved in this. He said there is a main person and there are others, and he said it here. He is saying that Nancy was taken to Mexico. Now, this is what he's saying. I'm not going to vouch for him, but this is the fourth letter. We have sent them all on to the FBI. And he also says one of the reasons he's worried about coming forward is he has a record. He has a burglary on his record from 10 years ago. So I don't know if you're real or not if you're watching this.
And he obviously he wasn't part of the case because he would have got hit in the CODIS database. You get what I'm saying? So he ain't part of it. You get what I'm saying? He didn't actually physically do it, or at least he wasn't in the house or something and left no DNA. You know what I mean? And because they would have caught it when they did the DNA test, especially if he had a record.
But if you are, and I have told the FBI that we're going to do this, they know this, that if you're worried about getting this money and you really do have this information, send it to us. You're sending us these letters. Send it to us. We will forward it to the FBI. And that way there's a record that we have that you supplied this information. If they find her and they find the kidnapper, then at least there is evidence, because we have it, that you're the one who provided the information. So this is a way for you to get that money if this really is legitimate. Send us the information. We will pass it on to the FBI. Okay, that said, a couple of points. One is the glove. I hope that glove has DNA that leads authorities.
Well, we know that it doesn't now, so he's kind of commentating about information that we already know now, that because this was like yesterday. So now you guys know the full story of this, and I was right. Like I said in the previous podcasting of this, they got nothing. I don't even know what else to say. They got nothing. I'm sorry for almost taking you guys to 3 hours. I did take you hours, 3 hours. Okay. You know, look. See you guys on the next episode. My name is Daris D. McKinney. Hit the like, subscribe, share. I'm building a panel, so please, if you don't mind, go into the individual perspective podcast at gmail.com. Give me your information so I can send a link to you and your email and all that good stuff, or send it to you so you can kind of have it in the chat when you're kind of coming on, and I know that you want to be part of it, so you're going to be using it, and that I know we got to grow it. And I've been seeing that when I upload videos, I get a lot of views. So you'll start seeing me do smaller clips, like 10-minute clips, 15-minute clips, so I could gang up the people to kind of push them towards the actual live streams and stuff like that. So we're going to get the viewerships. But I'll see you guys on the next one. My name is Daris D. McKinney. This is Individual Perspective Podcast. Individual Perspective Podcast. And I will see you on the next one.